Hey,
We're live.
welcome back to another MMA Dynasty debate. We have a whole lot to talk about. There's going to be a lot of hills that we're willing to die on here, guys. And the first thing that we're going to discuss is the most recent fight between Alexander Volkanovski and Islam Makhachev. All I have to say to begin with is the fight was incredible. It surpassed expectations. No matter what we get into, I think we're all impressed with the performance of Alexander Volkanovski.
Yeah.
But I want to just introduce some of the topics. So the second topic we're going to discuss is Yair Rodriguez versus Volk. Then we're going to go into John Jones versus Ciryl Gane. And then we're going to debate Usman versus Edwards. So the first topic will be Volk Islam. After we go around and give our take on the fight, we'll have a little discussion, and then we'll move on to answer some questions from the chat. So after every segment, we'll answer some of your guys' questions. If you send in a super chat, those are the first ones that we will read. Anyway, without further ado, we have Bedtime on. He's joining us again. And we all have Jacob Ross, of course. And guys, I want to ask you, who do you think won this fight? And who were you more impressed with? So Bedtime, we'll start with you. Then we'll go to Jacob, and then we'll go to me.
All right, cool. Am I good to go? All right.
Yeah.
I just want to start. I'm more impressed. Obvious, like the clear answer is fucking Alexander Volkanovski. Dude, Alexander Volkanovski surpassed every expectation and more. He gave Islam his toughest test. I think, in a way, Islam lost because of how much his mystique is kind of gone from how well Volkanovski did against him. And look, I'm going to be clear. I think Islam won the fight. But if you think Volkanovski won, that's okay. If you had Volkanovski, round 2 and round 3 were extremely close. Round 5 was very clearly Volkanovski's. I had round 1 for Islam. I thought he was losing at first. He got rocked. Then he hit him with that right hook that kind of stumbled him. I don't think it dropped him, but it kind of put him off balance. And then he landed a really good head kick, took him down, took his back, won the round off the back take. I think we can all kind of agree on that. Maybe not, but I think that kind of stole him the round, that back take, and controlling him for the end of that round. Round 2 was kind of close. I gave it to Volk because his striking was more effective. I know Lucas is ready to be like, fuck no. But dude, his striking was more effective. None of Islam's grappling did anything in that round. So I gave that to Volk. You know what I mean? I'm not saying grappling wins regardless, right? If the striking is better and the grappling's not enough, then the grappling's not enough. Round 3, I don't think there really was much grappling in round 3. I need to rewatch it, but I gave it to Islam in the moment. I need to rewatch it. I gave it to Islam. But again, close round. Round 4 is what I'm willing to, the hill that I'm going to die on, dude.
Let's hear it.
Round 4. Okay. If you have round 4 for Volkanovski based off damage, right? What damage did he do, bro? Now on the feet, it was very, very close. Now, let's say that if Volkanovski dropped him in round 4, he was fucking him up on the feet and he took the back. That's one thing, okay? I would give that round to Volkanovski. I'm not biased. I'm fucking Australian, bro. Why would I be biased against Volk? I just need to make that clear. But dude, Islam, the striking was close on the feet. Islam took him down with a beautifully timed takedown. No one's acknowledging that. Got his back, which is very hard to do. Controlled him on the back with a body lock. At that point, if he's hand fighting, which Volk did very well to defend the chokes, it's Volkanovski's job to get Islam off his back. He didn't do it. Islam effectively controlled him, grappled him from the best position, scoring-wise in MMA, the best position you can get in grappling. If you've never grappled, you don't really realize how hard it is to actually do that. But Islam did that for 2.5 minutes. He won that round, in my opinion. Round 5, I'm never going to argue that Volkanovski didn't win that. That was obviously Volkanovski's round. He finished so strong. It was an amazing performance from Volk. It's weird. I think Volk performed better, but Islam won based on round-by-round scoring. That's just how MMA goes. That round 4 is not contentious, in my opinion. Every other round, round 2, round 3, very contentious. But even if you want to argue round 1, I can see an argument for that. But me personally, I had it for Islam. That's how I had it. I had it 3-2 Islam.
All right.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. I thought it was 4-1 Islam.
Damn.
I'm not I love Volk also. I just think I just have to go with my reaction when I was watching it. I just that first round I had Islam. Second round was really close.
Yeah.
But I slightly edged it out to Islam. But that round was closer. I rewatched Weasel's breakdown. He had said Volk won round 2, but I think it was very close. When I was watching, I thought Islam though. Round 3 wasn't that the round where Islam had him on his back? It was on Volk's back.
That was 4.
So round 3 was the striking round.
They were striking. Volk
Yeah, I
stuffed
mean
one of the takedowns.
it's hard to really remember. I think I think 3.
The most striking took place in round 3. That was the round where the majority of the round, more than any other round, took place on the feet.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta rewatch that round. But I remember round 4 where Islam had Volk's back, and Volk was doing those stupid punches from behind that didn't do anything. That wouldn't even hurt anybody.
I mean,
And
that's true.
I thought that was a clear Islam round. Round 5 was definitely Volk. Round 3, I got to rewatch it, but when I was watching it live, I thought it was Islam. I thought Islam was winning every single round other than round 5, and I think he was winning round 5 until that knockdown, because that knockdown was crazy and that completely. I mean, if there was 30 more seconds,
Yeah,
dude, he could have finished him. He could have finished him in that round. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, I think though, like who I'm more impressed with, I mean, it's got to be Volk. You know, I mean, like I straight up, like we said last week, we were like, okay, like we think Islam is gonna run through Volk, finish him in the first round, finish him in the second round, finish him in the third round. If it goes past the third round, we're shocked. You know what I mean? And Volk was amazing. You know, like all these rounds were pretty close. That's the thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though I'm saying that I saw it 4-1, each round was very close. And a lot of these rounds, you can make arguments that either guy won, which is the crazy thing about it. You know what I'm saying? But when I was watching it straight up, I thought Islam was up in those, winning those rounds. But though Volk was more impressive, and I was shocked, you know. And I personally, like, I got to give Volk all the credit. But I also do think Islam didn't have his best fight. I think he fell in love with his striking, similar to what Khamzat did, but a little bit less bad. And I think that hurt him in the fight. I think maybe if he shot more takedowns from the start, I think he would have done better. But because some of those takedowns, he was getting Volk down quite easily in certain instances. He just wasn't able to keep him down, you know.
Yeah.
Besides the fourth round. So I think if he started with going with takedowns earlier, I think he may have had more success. I also think I hate to say it, like I don't want to like make excuses, but in my eyes, he looked skinnier. In my eyes, he looked skinnier than he did against Charles. I pulled it up again yesterday, both fights, and he looked skinnier. Even at the weigh-ins, I think like the ceremonial weigh-ins, he looked a little skinnier too. It was very slim. Volk is a 145er, so it really shouldn't be making much of a difference. But that could have been a factor. I mean, like he missed, like he could have had like 8 more hours left to rehydrate. That could be a factor. I mean, you got to think of it though. Like he was cutting weight brutally like 25 hours before that. You know, like
Volk looked big too, though. Volk did look bigger than I thought he would as well.
Also, Volk,
I think that was a factor in it.
It was easy for him to rehydrate. You know, he probably lost like 10 pounds. You know,
he
like
looked buff, bro. He looked
like,
bigger than he usually does.
He was ready. Also, I think the Australia crowd really helped Volk out. Yeah, I think if they rematched, I think Islam would fight a lot smarter. They would be in like a common area, not in someone's home area or whatever. And I think Islam would win easier. But the thing about Volk that I do have to say is you're not going to submit him through like on his neck. He has no neck. You're not going to get like a rear naked choke on him. Like Islam was trying to do that. And like I remember people were saying this beforehand, like, and you're not going to submit Volk like that. You're going to have to submit him with an arm triangle or something like that, or arm bar, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I was more impressed by Volk. You know, I think I was at first before the fight, I was like, okay, like I think Ilya Tapira may be able to beat Volk, but now I'm taking Volk over anybody in that featherweight division, and I think anybody in that lightweight division, besides maybe Rafael Fiziev. I could understand that. Striking could really cause him problems, but I think Volk's speed, and stuff like that is just like would kill guys like Poirier, kill guys like Gaethje. I think he would knock down Charles. I think he'd finish Charles straight up. You know, unless Charles could get come in with like get onto him with a crazy submission. But I'd pick Volk against Charles, and maybe Benny. Maybe Benny would have success against Volk, but I don't know. I think Volk really surprised me. He is still my number 1 pound for pound fighter. Although Islam won, I think Volk is still the best fighter in the world. as he was the weight class below, went against a way bigger guy, and like a guy who was literally wrestling since he was born. He couldn't like do much to him on the ground. Like that's insane. So I still think Volk is my number one pound for pound fighter, but Islam beat him, so I don't really mind it. But yeah, I'm definitely way more impressed by Volk. But I did think that Islam didn't fight his best possible fight.
All right. First thing I want to say, I'm going to respond to the chat first, and then I'm going to get into my big take. Big Chilling says, Islam didn't have 200 plus hours to put on more weight, so it's not fair. Listen, Islam didn't get his pedicure, right? He didn't get a nice massage before the fight. He didn't go on a vacation. Okay, he didn't have 100 extra pounds. Guys, the 8 hours that Islam would have had in another place, to me, may have had a tiny effect, but I still think at the end of the fight, Volkanovski's the one pulling through. And who was I more impressed with before I give my overall take on the fight? And I want to say this. I rewatched the fight this morning, and I was extremely analytical. I'm talking about the second round, the third round, and the fourth round, because the first is for Islam, the fifth is for Volk, clear as day. I was so analytical. I was pausing after every single strike, rewinding it 3-4 seconds, and watching it again and again and again, just to make sure I could be objective as possible. So I'll get into my take on the fight. I still have Volk winning. Who was I more impressed with? I think it's much more impressive for Alexander Volkanovski, the smaller man, to basically completely nullify the best grappler in the entirety of the UFC, who everyone was ranking in their tier lists as the number one guy, who everyone was saying was the best grappler, bar none, everyone was saying was a stylistic nightmare for Volkanovski. It's more impressive to shut that guy's grappling down, to laugh in his face and shit talk him for 2 minutes and 30 seconds while he's on your back, holding on for dear life, where at the end of the fight, you are beating the fuck out of him. That's more impressive than Islam, who everyone knew going into this fight was a good, clean, crisp striker with power, who is the hardest man to hit in the UFC. Statistically, the hardest guy to hit in the UFC. Him having success with Volkanovski on the feet, to me, is way less impressive based on the fact that we've seen that time and time again. We've seen guys like Kamaru Usman outstrike Leon Edwards. We've seen guys like Colby Covington outstrike Jorge Masvidal. These are phenomenal strikers losing rounds on the feet based on the fact that there's a threat of the takedown. Islam, the hardest man to hit in the UFC, was winning rounds because he had the threat of the takedown. And Jacob, I do want to say this. I disagree on the point that if Islam wrestled more, he would have had more success, because the success that he had in this fight came from the stand-up. He won round one with the grappling and the stand-up. That's the one round that he actually won with both, because he did drop Volkanovski to one knee and then had a neck crank on him. It was kind of bullying him badly on the ground. But in the fourth round, he didn't win that with his grappling. And in the third round, he won that round clearly. I'll get into the fight. I have Volk winning 3-2. The first is for Islam, clear as day. The fifth is for Volkanovski, clear as day. I rewatched the second, third, and fourth. Third round, trying to be objective as possible. It was hard for me to watch it because at the end, I was tallying all the strikes. Islam Makhachev won the third round. And while I was watching it live, I texted you, Jacob, and I said, that's Volk's round. I take it back. I think Islam wins that round. I rewatched the second round. There is no debate for me that Islam wins that round, because Alexander Volkanovski, when I tallied up all the strikes, and I'm looking at it right now, Alexander Volkanovski had 23 significant strikes landed from what I've counted, and Islam had 19. And Islam had a big moment in the second round, which is originally what made me give him the round. It's when he hit Volkanovski with a big straight left, and Volkanovski wobbled a little bit. And I rewatched it back. He was not hurt at all. He was going back really quickly. He was caught off guard, kind of caught off balance. And immediately after, when Islam tries to throw another flurry of punches at him, Volkanovski's lucid. He's moving. He's got his head movement. He's dodging shots. He's there. So I no longer am looking at that strike as if it's something that wobbled Volk. I don't think it wobbled him. The biggest strike Islam landed on Volk was in the first round, where he dropped him to one knee. Now, the second is for Volkanovski, clear as day. He outstruck Islam. The fifth is for Volkanovski, clear as day. The debate is with the fourth. I want to just say this. Volkanovski was outstriking Islam Makhachev on the feet. Now, when I tallied up the significant strikes, Volk has 6. Islam has 4. When I watched it live this morning and I was counting every strike, Volkanovski, when we're going with, total strikes landed on the feet, had about 11. Islam had 8. There is no way before he gets his back taken that Islam's winning that round. Okay, now let's go to him getting his back taken. Of course, it's a dominant position. And we've seen guys in a dominant position like Petr Yan lose a round to Aljamain Sterling. The difference here is that Aljamain Sterling had Petr Yan freaked out, fighting for his life, doing nothing, and Aljamain in those rounds was actually punching Yan in the face and shit-talking him. We didn't see Islam shit-talking Volkanovski in these positions. We saw him holding on, hiding his head. He landed a total of 5 shots on Volkanovski, pepper shots. Volkanovski, for 2.5 minutes after outstriking Islam on the feet, hit Islam Makhachev, and I kid you not, at least 40 times in the face, and was shit-talking him and laughing at him. Now, if Islam was trying to advance the position, if he was trying to sink in a choke, if he was trying to land more offense, it would have been different. I am telling you guys, he was not doing anything after the first 40 seconds of that exchange. All he was doing for the last minute and a half was holding on. I cannot look at that and say that that wins you the round when you already got outstruck on the feet with significant strikes and total strikes, and you got outstruck on the ground. This is not a jiu-jitsu tournament. It's an MMA fight, and I have to look at who did more damage. If Islam Makhachev had nullified Alexander Volkanovski's strikes, if he did not get hit in the face 40 times, there's a different argument. The truth is, he didn't do anything with the position. I cannot give him that round. I understand giving him the round. I do. I get it. But he didn't outstrike Islam on the feet. Islam got outstruck in the beginning of that round. It was clear. You can rewatch it again. And then the 5th round is Volkanovski's. Now, who was I more impressed with? As I said, it's more impressive for a 145-pound striker to move up a weight class and to nullify the grappling of the best grappler in the UFC.
Yep.
And it's less impressive for Islam, who was already a good striker going into this, to get hit more times in this fight than he did by his last 6 opponents. So
What I do have to
look at his face after he looked like a zombie. That's all I want to say.
What I do have to say though is Islam did cut Volk's eye in that 4th round. Did cut up his eye or his forehead, one of the two.
And Volkanovski cut Islam in the 4th round on the eyebrow.
I don't think he did.
Yeah, dude, look.
Cut him in the 4th. He cut him in the 4th. Anyway,
those numbers, man.
I just want to finish it off by this. I think that Islam Makhachev is still a monster at 155 pounds. We're looking at other guys now and saying maybe he's more beatable. To me, I think that Volkanovski's speed, his striking, and his ability to be, very defensive on the ground makes him a problem for Islam. You look at a guy like Ciryl on the feet versus Islam, he gets drops night and day. The grappling is close, of course. And you look at a guy like Beneil Dariush has a big right hand, an overhand right, and that's kind of it. I don't think he is well-rounded enough on the feet to fuck with Islam. And everyone else in that division, like even Fiziev, if you're gassing out in the 2nd round versus Bobby Green and you have to slow down your fights to the point to where there's barely anything going on in the feet with Brad Riddell and RDA, and you're losing rounds to RDA and the pace is slow, I don't think he survives with Islam in that pace. And I also think that Volkanovski, I think he beats Islam in a rematch. I think he has easier adjustments to make. And if Islam wrestles more, he'll have the same amount of success with the wrestling as he did in this fight. His most offensive moment on the ground in this fight was a neck crank in the 1st round. Volkanovski's most offensive moment on the ground in this fight was in the 5th round. He was landing massive ground and pound shots. To me, Volkanovski, although he lost, he's not the pound for pound guy, because pound for pound for me is based on resume. And I'm not upset with you guys having Islam winning. I don't think it's 4-1. I think it has to be 3-2 if anything.
No, I agree.
But I do think that Volkanovski's still the most impressive, best skilled fighter on the planet right now. That's all I want to say. So
agreed.
Let's have a conversation about it, and then we'll get to the chat, guys.
Damn, bro. Can I respond to round 4?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I actually listen. Like I was expecting to like really disagree with you a lot, but I actually agree with a lot of what you said. Like especially about round 3, round 2. I agree with you on every other round except round 4. My only point is that 11-8 is not enough of an outstriking, in my opinion, to where it's not like a Jimmy Crute Alonzo Menafield where it's he got dropped so bad, he got fucked up on the feet. Like it's clearly Volk was winning, and then Islam's holding on for dear life. The start of that round, It's close on the feet. I would agree that Volk probably did better in the striking, but Islam took him down, which is an example of effective grappling. Got his back, got the body lock, which is also like the most advantageous grappling position you can get. A referee will never break you from getting someone's back in an MMA fight unless you're Mark Goddard with fucking Kamaru Usman for some reason.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But I know, ridiculous. But still, it's the most advantageous position you can get, right? And it's all about who's closer to finishing the fight. In my opinion, do the backwards punches of Volkanovski counter how effective Islam was controlling him in that round? Now, holding on is one way to describe it, but realistically, if you grapple, I hate to pull this card. Bro. I don't want to pull this card. I've done it. You don't do it, but dude, grappling, it's like that is the most important position for a reason. It is the most controlling position you can get. Yeah. A body lock, it's so valuable, and it rightfully should be. Volkanovski, his job, I'm sorry, it's not to backwards rabbit punch. That was a cool moment. I loved that. I was cheering it in the pub. I wanted Volkanovski to win, but I have to admit that closer to finishing the fight, who's closer? Islam is closer because of the position he's in.
I agree with you.
Inherently, he's in a closer position to finishing the fight. Do I agree that Volkanovski did more on the ground in terms of damage? Yes, obviously. I'm not saying Islam was like about to finish him, but who's in a better position to win the fight? Islam is. Islam's controlling him. He was hand fighting at the start of the round. He had a hook on his arm that he could have switched to an armbar, but he was being quite lazy. But at the same time, to control someone effectively is effective grappling. And when the striking is so close, that's such a standout, is 2.5 minutes of control time with the best position. It's not holding against the cage. I would agree that Volkanovski would win the round if Islam was holding him against the cage. If he had him off a takedown and was holding him like Khabib holds people, right, against the cage, just like wrapping up their legs, that's one thing. But to take your back, put you in a body lock and hold you, and with the cage there, so he can't really flatten him out the way that Aljo did to Jan. It's very hard with the wall there. It's hard with the cage there, right?
Right.
Still control them completely. At that point, in my opinion, it's Volk's job to get him off his back. Islam obviously has to work there as well, but to say he did nothing, he was hand fighting, and he controlled the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world for 2.5 minutes. That deserves a win, in my opinion, in that round.
I understand.
And the striking wasn't like enough. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying.
I get that. The striking wasn't enough, but I have to say this. Like, for example, in the Ciryl Gane, Francis Ngannou fight, there's a moment where Ciryl Gane is going for heel hooks. And in that moment, because when I look at that round, I actually gave it to Ciryl Gane because I believe that he won the majority of that round. And in moments where both of them are just doing nothing, not landing any strikes, just in a better position, Ciryl Gane had the most dangerous position of the round where he was going for a heel hook. In that moment where Francis Ngannou is doing nothing but trying to defend a heel hook, Ciryl Gane is closer to finishing the fight. He is winning that moment, 100%. Agreed. But the difference is, if Francis Ngannou is not at all worried and punching Ciryl Gane in the face during that moment repeatedly for minutes on end, for example, Volkanovski, while he has his back taken, was punching Islam in the face. And sure, Islam is closer to finishing the fight, but we're not judging based on potential and what ifs if there are strikes being thrown. And that's all I want to say. If there were no strikes being thrown, without a doubt, Islam is the guy who wins that. And I understand the strikes that Volkanovski was throwing were not significant at all, and they were not going to do anything to Islam.
They're kind of love taps, to be honest.
That's my point. Is that it's like Islam is more likely to finish the fight.
But anyway, I have to say this: that I just don't think that like having a body lock, which is also the hardest to get away from, so it's kind of the easiest to hold on to. It's hard to get to. It's the best to get to, but it's easy to hold on to. I just think that unless you're threatening chokes and trying to submit him left and right and punching him in the face. If Islam's punching him in the face the whole time, it's different. He was trying to submit Volkanovski. He couldn't do it. And he couldn't do anything to him. And to me, just being in that position is not enough when Volk is punching.
Dude, when Volk isn't doing anything either, it's like he's in a
his whole job is to punch.
His job is to get out of there, and he couldn't do it. He couldn't get out. That's it. I'm sorry. That's
because he knew that
control time for a reason, because he's effectively grappling and controlling him. Dude, Volkanovski cannot do anything from that position but punch backwards because he's done.
And I could argue that Islam cannot do anything with that position either. From that is the furthest he can get.
I agree. The hand fighting is there. The hand fighting is what defended Volkanovski so well. And I think I agree. There was points where Islam could have done more, but he didn't. But at the same time, if I look at the position,
this guy says something interesting. He says it's more of a stalemate. And I don't mind that because the
I don't-
strikes that
I don't
Volkanovski's
agree.
landing is
I don't
Hey,
agree, bro. Because
and hold on. And then if it is a stalemate, then you have to look at the rounds on the feet. And I think that
And Islam cut him up with that elbow though. That was the
Dude.
biggest strike of the round.
It's not a stalemate. It's not
he
a
also had the
neutral
body
position.
kick.
It's not a 50-50
He also
position.
that huge body kick. No,
it's not a 50-50 position, but it is.
It's
when
not.
Volk's
It's
punching
not
you
even
in
like
the
the heel. It's not even like the heel hook of Gane and Ngannou because it's such a
he
good
put on the
position.
fourth
It's
round on
worth so
video.
much.
But hold on,
Dude.
it's even different than that because it's not like he had the arm around the neck. It's not like he was on the face at all. Even here's what I said: if Islam had him in a neck crank, it would have been different. He didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't have anything.
No, I'm saying I definitely think he could have done more, but at the same time, it's such a like that. The shots from Volkanovski are not fight changing enough, in my opinion, to where that negates the fact that Islam has him in the most advantageous grappling position that's worth the most in MMA by the rule set, right? He's closer to a finish inherently than Volkanovski is. He's controlled him for 2.5 minutes. That's half the fucking round, dude. And the striking was not enough to where I think Volkanovski was clearly winning and then Islam held on. I think Islam was looking for a choke at the start. The hand fighting was good. Volkanovski's been training with Craig Jones, bro. He's got good defense. I'm not denying that he did well in that position. But I'm saying if he got out of that position or if he reversed it and got on top, I'd give that round to Volk. I'd have no problem giving the round to Volk. But it can't all be on Islam. Some of it is on Volkanovski defensively.
I just think he wasn't being offensive after getting the body lock. After 40 seconds, if he was constantly going for the choke, I'd understand it. I'm kidding. I'm not kidding, bro. He was literally holding on and doing nothing at all. Like I cannot, when you're getting punched. Listen, I'm not going to do this because it's literally crazy, but just imagine someone like just doing this 50 times. It would suck. It's kind of humiliating.
Yeah, but me having their back, I'm still winning. And you can tap some. You can. This is kind of like a. This is like kind of a straw man. But I got to.
It's like holding on to their back. I mean, that's kind of like it's a fight, bro. And if you're not doing any damage, I just don't. I can understand it. Like I get it. I get the argument. I think that it's. This is an argument that's
frustrating. It is frustrating. I can understand. I can understand that it's frustrating.
Yeah.
Also, I just rewatched some of the fourth round. There was a couple moments in the fourth round where Volk was like, when Islam rocked him. I mean, didn't really rock him, but landed some.
He did acknowledge a lot of shots. I don't think that helped him.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I understand that Volk was acknowledging it, and maybe that wasn't the greatest move, but none of those like hurt him or anything. I wouldn't say
Anyway, he was acknowledging them. That's enough to be like considered a better than like a light punch.
It's gonna get the judge's attention, right?
It will. Strike,
Let's read.
Look, I understand. Yeah.
Do you guys want to read a little bit? We can pick a couple of questions from the chat. I want to see if there are any questions. So, guys, send in some questions right now. Send in questions right now. We're going to answer them in a couple of minutes. The next question I have for you guys is, who do you think wins the rematch if they ever have it? Jacob, you said Islam.
I think Islam. I think. Also, I want to say something about the gassing out point. I think he gasses out less if he sticks to his wrestling more because that's what he's used to. Like I know, like some people like who are strikers, like they struggle with more grappling because that's not what they're used to. But Islam's been grappling since such a young age that like he doesn't get tired from that. I think a lot of the striking stuff like that is what actually got him tired. So
I think the defense as well affected him. I think like Volkanovski's defense really tired him out. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he starts with more grappling. I think he wins the rematch.
If he's successful early, I can see that.
By a decision, though, I don't think he submits Volk. I think, like I said, Volk's neck is massive. I
think it was impressive how, like, and I am impressed with Islam's striking. Me saying I'm more impressed with Volkanovski is not me saying I'm not impressed with Islam, but Islam was winning on the feet. Like, I honestly don't know if he can get Volkanovski in any other better position other than mount. If he mounts Volk, it's different. I think that's what he would probably be going for because he's taken his back. He's done everything else.
Can't get much,
And I think that's probably what he should go for to win the rematch. But Bedtime, what do you think?
I think Volkanovski could really win a rematch. I think he himself acknowledged it really well. Like even in the post-fight interview, he kind of said, like, I showed all the skills to beat him. I just didn't do enough. Especially, I think he got he was a bit skittish on the feet as well early. I think that kind of messed him. I think he started a bit slow. If I honestly do think Volkanovski could win a rematch. Like I think a lot of people are misconstruing me saying Islam won and the stuff I'm saying about round 4 as like dude, Islam's better. Islam smashed him. Dude, Volkanovski did fucking good. And if you think Volk won, that's fair. And if you think Volk can win a rematch, that's very, very valid. Like, I think he has a lot of the skills to do it, especially if he's not tentative on the feet. If he knows he can defend the grappling now. And I think you could see his confidence rise. That's why he did so well late. Because he went into that, I think it was after the third round, he went into the corner. He's like, he's not strong. He's not strong. And he picked up so much from that. So I think in a rematch, the mental advantage is probably towards Volkanovski. His game plan is going to be even better. Like you said, Lucas, he probably has easier adjustments to make than Islam. His whole game basically got fucking exposed by Volk versus Volk, kind of just being a bit lazy in some positions and kind of losing on control time and some good striking from Islam that he probably didn't expect,
Yeah. I think that's a good point, man. I think that I definitely could see Volk winning, but I'm not going to sit here and act like it wouldn't be a close fight. I don't think Volk is going to ever dominate Islam. I really do agree with the fact that he didn't do enough. Although I can make an argument for him winning, clearly he didn't do enough. Like, there's such a big debate about multiple rounds. Like, he obviously needed to do more, and I agree. He looked a little bit skittish on the rounds in the first round because he must have been worried about the takedown. Because you haven't been taken down by Islam yet. You're just kind of waiting to see what does it feel like. Everyone
you don't know,
Like,
you want to see the strength,
You want to see what it's like, and I think as the fight went on, he kind of started to realize that Islam is not this mythical beast of a guy like everyone talks about. I think that Islam, if he takes him down and mounts him, that's his best chance to victory. I think that on the striking I think his striking is proven to be like a big test for Volk. But I think Volkanovski, if he makes the right adjustments, I give him a 60% chance to win that fight. Whereas I'd give Islam like a 40% chance to win that fight. It's still close. But let's look at some of the chat. I want you guys to send in some questions, but if there aren't any great questions, then we'll just move on to the next topic. This guy says, UFC, what does F stands for? This ain't the I grab you and cower away championship. Man. I
watch boxing.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, right? This guy says I'd squash him if he was a featherweight. That's what Volkanovski says on Ariel's podcast. I don't even mind that much.
That's a fair take.
I think that's a fair take as well.
Yeah.
This guy says Volk won't be as cautious of Islam's wrestling in the rematch, so we go to his low kicks more, which makes his striking much harder to deal with. I think he should have gone with more low kicks. I feel like
I was expecting more.
Yeah, I think he should have thrown more of those.
He did seem very awkward with them. Like, it felt like he was hitting kind of like, oh god, I actually landed a leg kick. Like, he seemed very skittish, right? I'm at the start.
Yeah, he did. He definitely did. Anyway, I don't really see any great questions. That a lot of these are just someone just typing in the chat. So let's just move on to the next topic. Yair versus Volkanovski. This is the next topic, guys. Yair Rodriguez had a great performance over Josh Emmett. I believe that we were all impressed with him. Yair is just an absolute beast. Oh, wait, this guy's asking a question. Do you guys think Volk wouldn't have gotten stuck in that body triangle if he wasn't talking to his corner while scrambling in round 4? Dude, was that when he was talking to his corner? Because there was one moment in the fight where Volkanovski's literally laughing at Islam and turning his face to his corner saying he's not all that strong, and then he gets taken down. I don't know. That was during this fight, there was a moment, and that's the moment where I was literally saying, holy shit, he's not taking him seriously. He's going to lose this. So I couldn't believe my eyes. Volkanovski made some really dumb mistakes in this fight. But anyway, Yair versus Volkanovski. Who do you guys have winning that fight? Bedtime, we're going to go to you first. And also, what did you make of Yair's striking? Do you think he presents big problems to Volk? And then, so tell me your prediction. And how did you think, what did you think about his performance?
I literally, one of my first videos, I was like, dude, Yair has a good chance to beat Volk. And he showed everything you need to see against Emmett. The jiu-jitsu has come along so good for him. He's stopped relying on his terrible ground and pound. He's more just throwing up subs now, he's not worried about his little Donkey Kong punches, which are just the worst. But dude, his striking looks so good, man. His body attacks were so nice. He was setting up fucking Josh for head kicks. He just had Josh completely covered. I think MMA Guru really predicted it spot on that he'd be spamming head kicks, keeping his hands up, and then blasting the body basically whenever he wants. He looked really good, man. I thought he'd be a lot more scared and a lot more cautious of Josh. He was willing to trade with him as well, and it really worked out for him to get Josh just tired, just overwhelming him with the body shots as well, just hitting him from all 3 levels. And his jiu-jitsu is really what I think gives him the best chance against Volkanovski. I'd pick Volk after how well he did against Islam. I feel like you'd just be an idiot to pick anyone over Volk now after how well he fought against Islam, right? But if anyone's going to pull an upset, I think it's going to be Yair. I think Yair, his jiu-jitsu, his kicks, like I can just see him head kicking Volk, and it's just we don't realize that he's hurt, and then he kind of wobbles, and we're like, oh shit, you know what I mean? But I'm not going to bank on an upset from Yair. I think Yair would do well against Volk. I think it would go to a decision, but I think Volk would come on really strong round 3, round 4, round 5, and just start timing him, smash him with those leg kicks, use his takedowns as well. Because those seem to be a bit of a weakness for Yair, especially when he's not expecting them. Like with Josh Emmett, he knew they were coming. The longer that he kicked him, the longer he beat him up, that he knew they were coming, which really helped him with his jiu-jitsu. But yeah, he was really impressive. I'm looking forward to him versus Volk. That's going to be much more exciting now that we've seen him smash Josh Emmett.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me, I think Volk absolutely smashes him. At first, like before the Islam fight, I was like, okay, like this may be a close fight. But the thing is, like, look, I think if Yair and Volk stay on the feet, I think Volk has problems just because of the creativity. I think anybody who fights Yair on the feet only has problems. But at the same time, Yair is like has the worst takedown defense, one of the worst takedown defense I've ever seen. I can just see Volk being able to take him down and just like smashing his face. And then like Yair is not as effective once he gets his face smashed for like the first 2 rounds. You know what I'm saying? So I think Volk absolutely dominates him. I think he 50-45s him just because of that fact. But if Yair somehow in that time improves his takedown defense like a ton, he could give Volk problems in the feet just because of the creativity. But I just think that's very unrealistic, as this fight will probably be within the next 6 months. You just can't like completely improve your takedown defense when you're already not good on at takedown defense in that little time. So I think Volk smashed him. I think Volk beats him 50-45 straight up.
Oh, okay. I honestly could see Volkanovski dominating him. I think that the first round is going to be like a big test because Yair Rodriguez, I know he's flashy, but what really impresses me is just his basics, like his body kicks, his leg kicks. I love how he follows up his kicks with like, boxing combinations, and he's just really fast with it. It's like the reverse Robert Whittaker. And man, I have to say this, I am impressed, but I feel like we kind of all expected this outcome with him and Josh Emmett. I know that bedtime, you thought that he was going to be a little more reserved on the feet in the first round, but going into this, I was predicting Yair to completely fuck him up in the first. Like
I thought he'd be scared. Yeah, I was wrong, man.
I just have never seen Josh Emmett look that great, even in his big highlight reel knockouts where he's like knocking out a Michael Johnson. He's still getting his ass kicked for the majority of the fight. And, this is a guy that's like barely able to live after his fights. Like he has to go to the hospital, eat their feeding tubes and all that. And I just don't even see him as a top 10 featherweight. If I'm really looking at the divisions at featherweight, I'm looking at Max, Allen. I'm looking at even Ortega. Even Giga Chikadze. Dan Ige beat his ass too. I'm looking at Calvin Kattar. All these guys are better than him. I do not think that Josh Emmett is a top 8 guy in the featherweight division. If he lost to Dan Ige, I think it's only, right that he gets his ass kicked by Yair Rodriguez, who might just be the most dangerous pure striker in the division. And even though it was impressive, I cannot say that he beats Alexander Volkanovski. Anyone's bound with that kind of striking to look amazing against Yair. But after seeing what Volk did with Islam, and it wasn't even just what he was able to do physically, just mentally, how he was able to prepare for Islam, how he goes into every fight with a completely different game plan. He's able to outstrike Max, outstrike the best of them, and then grapple with the best of them too. And I just feel like a guy like that has his fight IQ is too high. His, ability to just, lock into his fights and enjoy the process. He actually likes fighting too, like, which is some guys are just fighting because they're good at it. Volkanovski seems to love it in there, and he just thrives in the fight. And that's why you always see him get better as the rounds go on. I think that if he gets out of the first round, he demolishes Yair. I think he takes him down, he mixes it up. And if he can include that threat of the takedown, I think that Yair is going to gas with the physicality of Volk. And I think he'll get the shit beat out of him. But the first round is an issue because I could just see Yair like hitting a head kick on Volkanovski, and we've seen him land them on everyone. And if he's landing them on Max, like, listen, Max is the best chin in the UFC. So no one's knocking down Max Holloway. If If he lands something clean on Volk, he could literally put him out. So that's the danger. That's
Volk
why
also has gotten hit by head kicks a
yeah.
decent amount, like by Islam, by Max.
You're right. He did get hit by Islam by a couple head kicks. So I think that Volk, again, if he knows
That
that they're
could be
coming,
a factor,
I
actually.
think he'll prepare for them. Like, I think, as I said, Volkanovski will prepare for that. He'll be ready for it. And
I just think
unless
you can't
he
strike
makes
with
a
Max.
big
You
mistake,
can't strike with Yair, though.
yeah,
That's the thing. I
exactly.
think Volk needs to take him down. I think he could take him down, though, because I think Yair's takedown defense is honestly
It's
one of the
good.
worst.
Yeah.
Taken down by Jeremy Stevens, bro. Yeah.
Taken down by Jeremy Stevens, like, you know,
taken down by Max Holloway.
I think Volk is probably even a better grappler at this point in his career than Frankie Edgar was when Yair fought him. And Frankie's a beast too. Offensively,
I think Volk is a good. I think Volk. I mean, he's a decent grappler.
Yeah.
You know, he almost took Islam down.
Yeah, and he was beating Islam up, and his top pressure, his top game is amazing, bro.
Yeah, if he gets him tired, he gets him down. Like, yeah,
like that's what I mean. I think he'll be able to tire him out. And again, like beating Josh Emmett, to me, I think every one of the guys in the top 5 in that division destroyed Josh Emmett. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
it's more how he did it than the fact that he did it. Like, we all knew he was going to do it, but it's the fact that he did it so well, I feel like.
Yeah.
You know? But even then, he got dropped.
Like, Josh Emmett, though. Oh my God! Like you were texting me before the fight, you're like, Josh Emmett only has a right hand, and like literally that, like he was just not even throwing combinations. He was just chucking up his right hand. I was just like,
I know,
like,
bro.
This guy's
I felt bad for him. Like I felt bad for all the fighters going into UFC 284, like the foreign fighters, you know, from America. I just knew like this guy's gonna get his ass kicked, and he's gonna have to like go home on a plane,
fly
like
home.
And shit. It just sucks, bro. I knew he was gonna get his ass kicked from the get go, and I felt bad watching the embeddeds. I'm like, dude, this guy has no idea that he's like.
He's got no game plan.
Yair was like consoling him afterwards. It was sad, you know,
dude.
So, man, I'm looking forward to it though. Volk versus Yair should be fun, but if Volk gets it done, I think he should move up again and challenge for the title. I'd like to see that. But in my opinion, you know, I think Yair's a guy that he needs to beat to really prove that he's that. Like, if he can beat Yair, there's no more debate. Like, he has to be one of the best things we've ever seen. And I think he needs to fight Yair just because Yair has the belt now. He kind of has to do it. And that's a fight that worries me. So I'm excited, man. But yeah, let's move on to the next segment. So Jon Jones and Ciryl Gane. Jon Jones, Ciryl Gane. That's what we're going to get into. The fight is coming up in a few weeks, which is crazy because we just saw UFC 284 and in March there are 2 pay-per-views. Who are you guys picking to win this next month? Like, yeah,
jeez, it's gonna be so good.
I cannot wait to see it, man. Jon Jones, Ciryl Gane. Who are you guys picking? Bedtime. You can go first and tell me why you're picking that one.
I'm gonna look, man. I lean Jones, especially after this fight on this weekend. I can see Jones winning a very controversial decision. Not a lot of people pick controversial decisions. I think Jones is going to get a little bit of a, like, I'm not going to say a robbery, but it's going to be like a contentious decision, I think, based off like volume. I don't think the takedowns will be as prevalent as people think. I think Gane will be ready for the takedowns. You know what I mean? He has a full training camp. He knows he's going to be wrestled in this fight. You know what I mean? I think Jones is going to capitalize more on the feet with some of the mistakes that Ciryl Gane makes. People kind of consider Ciryl Gane this really good striker. I do too. But I do think there are openings that a Jon Jones will see, especially because he's so smart. He has such good fight IQ, as opposed to what Anthony Smith thinks. He actually does have good fight IQ. He is going to see stuff that's there. I think Ciryl Gane ducks his head a lot if you watch a lot of his fights. When he misses, he kind of stops and like looks at you to see what you're going to do. He almost wants you to kind of follow up. And I think Jones can capitalize off that, especially with his kicks. I think Jones is going to find leg kicks as well. Gane's going to test out the leg kicks. But yeah, dude, I think Jones will defend the leg kicks quite well. I think he'll find the clinch and try and take him down, but Gane will do well defensively against the cage with his size. He's going to be prepared as well for the grappling. But I think it's going to be a bit of a coin flip decision. You know what I mean? I think it will be very technical on the feet. We'll be looking at the numbers. We'll be looking at the significant strikes numbers, the control time. I think Jones is going to find those little habits and catch him with uppercuts. He's going to catch him with knees when he ducks his head. He's going to be looking for head kicks when Gane kind of breaks away and kind of looks at you to see what you're going to do. I think Jones is going to eat some head kicks, some front kicks as well. I think Jones bites a lot on feints, which Gane is going to capitalize on as well. I think it's going to be a really technical striking match. I think Jones is going to do better on the feet than people expect. And I think Gane's going to do better in the grappling than people expect. But I lean Jones just because I can see more openings in Gane than I do in Jones, honestly. Now, I know Jones lost on the feet to Dominic Reyes, but I think Gane is less come forward with flurries the way that Reyes is. He's not going to put Jones on the back foot as much as a Reyes would. You know what I mean? Like Reyes was just pressuring. He was kind of hard-nosed. He was like, we're going to fucking fight. I'm going to put you on the cage. Whereas I think Gane's going to try and test out those leg kicks. He's going to kind of play at range with Jones, which does benefit Jones. So I lean Jones by a very close decision. I can see him catching those uppercuts when Gane ducks his head. I can see him clinching him, hitting him with good knees. I can see him, throwing up knees whenever Gane ducks his head. I can see him putting him on the cage with good combos and head kicks and stuff like that. So I lean Jones by a very close decision, but I think it'll be a very good fight. I'll be close on the feet.
You're muted, bro.
At first, I was like, okay, Jon Jones for sure going to win, all that. But as time goes by, like, I wouldn't be surprised if he loses. But at the same time, like, it's hard to not believe that, like, Jon Jones is not going to be training as hard as he's trained in years for this fight. Like, like he's coming back for a reason. He's coming back to win at heavyweight, He's going to be training harder than ever. I believe in the Reyes fight. I don't think he took Reyes seriously. I think in the Santos fight, he didn't take Santos seriously. I think in his last couple of fights, he just wasn't taking his opponent seriously. And I think he just really didn't train hard. And I think in terms of Ciryl Gane, I think he's going to take him super seriously. I think he's been taking the last 3 years seriously because he's figured it would be Francis. So I think Jones is going to be more prepared than ever, or at least for a very long time. I think he's going to come in here motivated, and you do not want to fight a scary Jon Jones. So I do think Jones is going to win, but I would not be surprised if Gane does win, and I also would not be surprised if it goes to a decision. At first, I was like, okay, Jones will probably submit him or finish him with ground and pound within the first couple rounds. But I think, like Bedtime said, I think Gane's going to be prepared for the wrestling, so I think he's going to do a little bit better than people are thinking. But I think Jones will win a pretty close decision. I think Jones will come into the ground at certain points, but I think Gane will be kind of impressive on the ground, and Jones won't be able to kind of hold him down. But at the same time, though, like I just don't know how Gane will react with Jones's like vicious elbows and that kind of stuff if he does get on top of him. And like I feel like if he does do that, like there's a chance that he just finishes the fight right there because Gane has never faced anything like that. So it'll be interesting to see. But I think Jones will win a close decision. That's my prediction. But I would not be surprised if Gane does win.
Yeah, I think that these are good picks. I originally picked Jon Jones to win this thing, but I can make a really good case for Ciryl Gane to win this fight. And as much as I want to pick Jones, I kind of want to be that guy who gets like the underdog pick here. And I kind of want to start going early just so I can say that I picked it from the start. And so I'm going to fucking go for it. I'm going to go crazy. I'm going to pick Ciryl Gane to beat Jon Jones. Now, I think right now, like if I have to look at the percentage chance of who's going to win, I give Ciryl Gane like a, 55% chance to win, and Jon Jones a 45% chance. But I've been seeing pictures of Jon Jones lately, and he looks like fat. I understand I haven't really looked at his physique all that much, but when I'm looking at his face, it's not just like a big face where he's got this big, thick neck and his head's grew a little bit. He genuinely looks like he's got this big, bloated look going on. And I don't know if that's good. I don't think Jon Jones stores that much body fat on, because even in the past, in the off season, in between fights, Jones wouldn't have this big fat face going on. Nowadays, he's got this bloat, these big ass cheeks. He just looks a little soft, and he hasn't fought for years. And the last fight that he had, he lost. He's looked worse and worse and worse the more he's fought. Like, for sure, he looked amazing against Gustafsson and Anthony Smith. But then he fought Thiago, and he had a really close fight. And then he, almost lost to Reyes. I think he did lose that fight. And he got outstruck. And I rewatched that fight back a week and a half ago. And Dominic Reyes sunned him for 3 rounds. And that is T-Rex arms, Dominic Reyes, who's been KO'd out cold 3 times in a row. And I know he's training with Henry Cejudo. I know he's the GOAT. And I also know he's got this like mentality that a lot of these guys don't have. And that's why, you cannot fake winning that many times in title shots. The guy is like clearly the best competitor we've ever seen. And I think that for sure, there's a good chance that his experience and his viciousness and like his IQ and his game plan can triumph in this one, where, maybe he has a perfect game plan to set things up, to slow down a Ciryl Gane. Like, he completely has shut guys down before. Like, he shut down Gustafsson in their rematch, and it was pathetic. Like, Gustafsson looked terrible, and Jones just had an answer for everything.
Yep.
And, he shut down Anthony Smith too. John Jones has shut down a lot of guys. And so the experience is on his side. But if I'm looking at recent history, and I'm looking at how John Jones has looked in the gym recently, where he's got this big ass fat face going on, and he's been drinking and driving the past couple of years, although he's probably taken this very seriously. But let's be honest, this is always a crazy guy who's up to no good here and there. So I don't know if we can just definitively say that John Jones is just Mr. Sober, all business type of guy.
Shit, it might help him if he's not.
Exactly.
If he's on that coke, you might do well, bro.
And you have a point. Maybe he's better as a crazy guy anyway. But maybe he's saucing too. We don't know that. I don't think so. I'm not going to bank on that. Like, that's not going to factor into it. But if I'm looking at this fight on the feet, I take Gane all day. I know Jones has the crazy elbows. I know he's very creative. I know he can set things up, and he's a good kickboxer. But he's starting to look a little old. Like, when I watch him fight, even against, I don't know, he just doesn't look as impressive to me anymore. And Ciryl Gane is the new guy on the block. Like, he's extremely impressive. And we're always talking about how Ciryl Gane moves like a middleweight. Like, dude, I know John Jones is moving up to heavyweight, and a lot of these guys are going to be slow for him, but Ciryl Gane's not going to be that guy. Ciryl Gane is not a good example of your average speed heavyweight. He's just not. And on the feet, the reach advantage is for Jones, but I don't know if his boxing is really all that to be able to utilize it that much. When you're getting pieced up by Dominic Reyes, I think Ciryl Gane has it all day on the feet. Now, can John Jones make the rounds close? I think so. But man, we're looking at Ciryl Gane fighting these big, heavy hitters like Tai Tuivasa, like Francis Ngannou, like, Jairzinho Rosenstrike. He really has to worry about the power that's coming back his way. I don't think he has to worry about that power with John Jones. Now, he'll find out. Maybe Jones is cracking harder at heavyweight, but this is not a guy that has heavy.
He's got to worry about the takedown, though. I think that's going to affect.
Yeah,
he's going to be super bothered by the
that I agree with. That I agree with.
Yeah.
But I do have to say this: all of his opponents have to worry about the takedown. Dominic Reyes has to worry about the takedown. Thiago Santos has to worry.
But
about
like
the
not
takedown.
as much as Gane though, because I think Gane is expecting like this guy Jones, like his only way to fight.
Yeah.
And beat him is by taking him down. So I think he's gonna be more like conscious over it, and maybe Jones that'll open up Jones' striking a bit more for stuff like elbows.
That is true.
Stuff like that. Knees,
now one thing I will say, because this really does factor into my take, I do think that John Jones' way to win is with the wrestling. I think he's really good offensively on the ground, but like, he took Anthony Smith down, rinse and repeat towards the latter rounds, and didn't finish him. Couldn't do anything to him, like, to really, really hurt him badly. I don't know if he's just going to finish Gane like that. I don't know if he's just going to submit Gane. I don't
see a finish. No,
Ciryl Gane might be harder to deal with on the ground than Anthony Smith. Like, you know what I mean? And the last thing I'm going to say is, when Ciryl Gane was taken down by Francis, like, he was just straight up not ready for that. Like, Francis Ngannou, give him a little bit of wrestling training, and the guy could take down basically anyone in the UFC, maybe. I mean, that's how good he is. You know what I mean? And I just think that Ciryl Gane was completely caught off guard, and he only got taken down in 2 rounds. Like, the 3rd round, I know Francis was on top of him, but Ciryl Gane was the one who landed the takedown. I think that this is a guy who started fighting in 2018, which is insane. We talk about how impressive it is for Volkanovski to start training when he's 23. Dude, Ciryl Gane started fighting in 2018. Like, he wasn't even doing kickboxing before that. Like, legitimately started doing his first competition in 2018, and he's already by far the best heavyweight on the planet aside from Francis. I think that this is a guy that could learn really good takedown defense for this fight, and I'm going to pick him to win on the feet. I'm going to go with Ciryl Gane, and I'm going to pick him by decision, honestly. But I could see Jones winning. I'm just going to go with Ciryl Gane just because I like the underdog here.
I want to say something also about Gane, that like, we also don't know how he does when it gets deep, when it's a war, stuff like that.
That's true.
Like he's never been taken to these like deep waters, and when he was taken to in a later in a 5-round fight, Francis beat him, when he had the lead early on. So what if it's like the 4th and 5th round? Like, what if it's the 5th round, 2-2? Like, you think, like, who do you think is going to win? I think the more experienced guy, Jones, who has this killer instinct, like Gane, like, he hasn't shown any of that. So I think the experience could really come in handy in a fight like this, especially. So
Yeah,
that's another factor I feel like people are
but
forgetting.
don't you
about.
think
Plus,
the
my
added
pick-
weight could slow him down though?
Yes, but it doesn't. He still has that killer instinct no matter what, and he's gonna be motivated more than ever in heavyweight, knowing that this guy is dangerous. Not that it's like an Anthony Smith. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's Ciryl.
I think
Gane,
the size helped
in
Ngannou wrestle him too.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What? I think, yeah. And Ngannou's size helped him take down Gane as well. So you add the skills of Jones. Jones is a fucking good wrestler. Like, he took down DC. You know what I mean? That's a big boy. So I think you add in the size of Jones now, plus his skills, right?
Also, DC. I mean, we
Sorry,
saw how hard Islam had taking down Volk, a shorter guy. Like,
that is impressive.
Jones took down a shorter guy pretty easily, who's a way better grappler.
His timing will be better for the takedowns if he wants to go there. He'd be better at feinting it as well. He knows more entries. I think his fight IQ is way higher than Ngannou's. Like, that's not even a debate. So I feel like that puts him at such an advantage over Gane in terms of being able to threaten way more. Like, he can threaten the takedowns to set up his striking. He can mix in takedowns if the striking is not going well. He can clinch if he needs to. He's got everything. He's got, like, on paper, he's got fucking every advantage, like, except for the striking, obviously. To quote the great.
Yeah,
Anthony
I
Smith,
really think he's gonna beat Gane.
I
think
that
robbery decision for Jones.
Go on.
I like decision.
That's
also.
my pick.
I think decision.
You think decision?
Yeah.
I think that John Jones struggling to take down Reyes and Santos. I think
He
wanted
wasn't
to stand with
motivated.
them.
That's what you got to realize.
I don't think he was as motivated. And also, I think he wanted to stand with them. I think he'll be training wrestling more often. I get this vibe from Ciryl Gane that he's like might just be the most talented guy in the UFC.
Yeah,
that's the vibe I get from. Like, I've never seen someone like that at heavyweight. Every heavyweight sucks, bro, on the feet, basically. Except for maybe like Tom Aspinall and Alexander Volkov looks okay, but Volkov looks like the average fucking bantamweight striker, like that's in the top 50. You know what I mean?
Would not be ranked at fucking bantamweight. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, he's basically not even that good, and even Volkov like stands out amongst all the heavyweights with his striking.
Yeah, no,
and
you get the sense that Gane's still
doesn't
improving.
lose rounds against these guys.
Yeah.
I think Gane
that also is the same thing for Gane. But that also is the same thing for John. Like, John is one of the most skilled, talented fighters ever, and he's moving up to the least skilled division of all of them.
Ciryl Gane is not a good representation of the rest of the guys, though.
And Gane would have been a really good entry
beating
for
these guys were fucking trash. You know what I mean? Like, Gane could just be.
That's true. It's a big step up for Gane. But I also don't know if I could just say that Francis Ngannou is like a easier matchup for Gane than it is for Jones. I think that Francis. I understand he's not that skilled.
I mean, he lost to Francis.
I know, but I think he won. Like, I don't think he lost that fight, dude.
But like, I mean,
I still think he won that.
I think it was a very.
And Francis couldn't touch him. Francis literally could not touch him.
Yeah, no, he got schooled on the feet.
Like exactly. And I think that Francis, us saying Francis is not good, like, we cannot deny that Francis Ngannou is the scariest man on earth. Like, the guy is, even though he's not that technical,
he doesn't need to be.
He doesn't need to be, bro. One shot and you're done. And you can't knock him out either. He's got a fucking crazy chin.
So does Jones, though. We got to acknowledge Jones's fucking iron chin, bro.
No, I don't think Gane is gonna hurt him badly or anything like that. But I'm telling you guys, I think that the chance that Gane has, I think that Jones might gas a little quicker just because. Dude, I know I've never seen him gas like that, and I haven't, but because he didn't gas against, Dominic Reyes.
No.
But I just think that the added size might slow him down. We didn't.
I just see a slow pace. I can't see him slowing down in such a slow. I feel like it's not going to be high paced at all.
Yeah, I can see Dom bouncing around, jabbing him up. Having
like that's not it. That's not tiring to be on the other end of that though. Like, it's not.
Of course.
But the size, I do understand what you're saying, but I think it will be very like a point fight. I think it will be kind of like people. I feel like we're going to be on a debate show like the week after, being like, who actually won, Gane versus Jones? I can tell. I know. Sign up right now for that shit, bro. Dude. We're going to be here for that. That's what I think.
I'm telling you, man. Like, these debates are great. it's funny because like, you know, even talking about Gane now, like we're bringing up Francis and like we still are saying, did he
Yeah.
even win that fight? You know, so
Yep.
man, I hope it's a good fight. Is there any
Yeah.
chance that Gane finishes him? You guys think or no?
No,
Damn, that's crazy.
I don't see it, bro. I just don't see it, bro.
Gane has fought some big punchers with big chins, and like,
Yeah.
you know, not really. I mean, you know, who has Gane faced before Francis? So he didn't knock out Jairzinho, but he
Knocked
did.
out
He
Volkov.
has KO'd some guys. He
Yeah.
has knocked
He
some guys
KO'd
out.
Derek Lewis. It
He
took him
KO'd
3
Derek
rounds.
Lewis
Derek
and
Lewis.
Tai Tuivasa knocked him out.
Yeah, but it didn't like yeah.
I mean, he does. It's not like he has no power. It takes a
No.
while for him to get going, though.
Yeah.
I think that Gane is
mean,
going to
like-
look. What about on the feet? What about on the feet? How do you guys think it goes on the feet? I just can't see Jones beating this man on the feet.
I think it'll be just really close on the feet. I think it will be some rounds that they like, and takedowns might make just enough of a difference for Jones to win. I'm not saying that Jones is going to beat him on the feet, but I think who do I think the judges are going to give it to at the end of the fight? I think they're going to give it to Jones, bro. I think it's going to be closer than people think on the feet. But obviously, I think Gane's leg kicks are going to be there. He's going to, because Jones bites a lot on feints, dude. So I think he's going to use those to his advantage. His jab will probably be, he'll probably be really quick early as well. But I think if anyone's going to slow down, it might be Gane instead of Jones. I don't know.
Could be.
I have a
I mean,
hot
I could
take,
see
though.
Gane gassing in the later rounds. Yeah, what's up?
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be a boring fight.
Really?
I
think
see.
it's gonna
Yeah,
be
technical.
really
Yeah.
boring.
I don't think it's going to be boring at
Yeah.
all. I think that's like what we were kind of saying about Izzy and Pereira. I think this is going to be a banger. I don't think it's going to be like a brawl. I just think it's going to be like a really, really good fight. I think there are going to be
Yeah.
moments where I think Gane's going to hurt Jones. I'm not saying he's going to drop him. I'm saying he's going to have a moment in this fight where like Jones is like trying to save himself and things get a little crazy. And I think that Jones will have a moment where like Ciryl Gane is on the ground and Jones is elbowing him. I think it's going to be a crazy fight. I don't think that Ciryl Gane with a guy who does not have that much power. That's the thing. Like the threat of the takedown is significant, and maybe that will allow John Jones to open up his striking. But I just don't think that Ciryl Gane has to fear any power coming his way. And I think that these heavyweights that are Jones's size, you know, Jones has always had the advantages physically. He no longer has that physical advantage. The only advantage he has physically is the reach. And I honestly do not think that Ciryl Gane will have an issue with Jones's reach. I don't. I think that Ciryl Gane's going to march him down. I really do.
Damn.
I don't think that I think Ciryl Gane can take big, you know, kicks to the
Yeah, but
body.
then there's the risk of the takedown, though.
That's
You know
the
what I mean?
thing.
I don't- I don't
Jones
think
has
that's gonna
the
freeze him up a
wrestling.
bit, yeah.
If Jones gets the
Yeah.
wrestling going, it's probably, you know, downhill from there because I think Gane will gas if Jones has success with wrestling.
Also,
Also,
if he faints it, it's going to help
yeah.
his striking, bro.
Gane hasn't experienced this wrestling much as we've seen against Francis. You know what I mean? Like he can gas out if he gets taken down in the first or second round. Like who knows? Like, you know what I'm saying? But I think Gane is honestly better off. Like I think that the training camp is going to be all wrestling focused, and I think that's going to really not actually be good for Gane's head.
Yeah.
I think that'll like kind of like mess with him being like more worried, which will freeze him up a bit. And I think John will have a bit more.
I think it kind of diminishes their striking a tiny bit after those long training camps because they look a little bit less crisp on the feet.
Their mind is all on the grappling there, yeah.
I don't know if he's going to look less crisp because of that. I just think he's going to be so focused on the wrestling and not getting taken down, especially after the Francis fight, that I think he'll be a little bit hesitant and stuff like that. And I think Jones could.
It's either going to affect his output or his power, yeah. Yeah, like he's either going to throw kicks with a lot less.
Honestly.
Yep.
Because I do think I do think Jones is going to have a harder time getting Gane down than we think. But I just think that that Gane is going to be so much in his head that he's just going to like struggle on the feet, like do a little bit worse in the feet than he usually does. And Jones like may be able to edge those rounds out. Who knows? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't know. But I actually wanted to talk about another fight also. I know we're talking about Usman Edwards, but I wanted to talk a little about Izzy versus Pereira 2 or 4, whatever you want to call it.
Someone mentioned that in the chat. He said,
someone mentioned it. I wanted to talk a little about it. Bedtime. We haven't heard what you said. I don't think. About the fight, but I did see today. I saw a video. Like those recap MMA channels that have like the recaps of the day, whatever.
Yeah.
The first part of the video was like Izzy says he's confident in the rematch, and I hear Izzy talking. I skip it right away. I'm like, I'm like, dude, like I don't want to hear this guy anymore. Like I don't want to
No.
hear the build up. I'm not looking forward to the build up at all, to be honest. I'm just looking forward to the fight.
I am. It's
I'm
going to be
looking
very
forward-
cringe. I'm very excited for Izzy.
I'm not
trying to-
looking. I agree with Jacob. Like, how am I supposed to get hyped for this fight when I know the
Yeah,
outcome?
I'm
bro?
not hyped
Down
for the
3-0.
I'm hyped for the
I don't know
fight.
the outcome, but either way, like Izzy has nothing to say. He has no
That's
right.
what I'm saying. Like,
That's what I want to see. I just want to see him try and talk, bro. He's got nothing to say.
I'm hyped for the fight itself.
Yeah.
But this build up is just going to be so cringe. You know what I'm saying? Like what is it? Like Izzy's going to say he's confident in this win? Like it doesn't matter the score
Dude.
beforehand. It's who finishes it at the end. Like he's going to say the exact same things he said in the last
You're already
fight
down
and the
3-1,
fight
bro.
before.
Yeah, like
Like if I'm Izzy, I'm
just
just staying
reminds me
quiet
of, like-
the whole time.
He
Yeah,
says he doesn't take
it's-
score; he settles them. That's like that's the quote that Izzy had in his.
That's what he
recent
said
interview.
But
last
the
time
score is
too.
3-0,
bro.
bro.
I
Yeah.
don't keep score;
I
I
know.
settle them. Like just a regular Izzy
I know.
quote, bro. I can't stand it.
Watch the fight.
I think he has a chance to win, though. I think I will give him like a slight chance to knock Pereira
Yeah.
out, but I think his only chance is a KO. That's the craziest part. I really do think his
Yeah,
only chance is
I agree.
Yeah, straight
I
up.
agree.
You guys, how do you
But
guys see
man.
this fight like going though? Like,
I think
bedtime?
Pereira's going to knock him out in the second round.
Yeah, I
I
see
think he's
Pereira
going to
knocking
KO
him
him.
out.
How do you see it going down? I think they're going to break off from the clinch, and Pereira's going to hit him with a left hook, similar to how like Blachowicz knocked out Rockhold.
Look, Rockhold? Yeah, nice. I don't know, man. I need to see them fight. I think the leg kicks will be Pereira's confidence is going to be so much higher in the striking. He knows
Yeah.
exactly what he has to do now. His grappling defense will be better. I don't know why people act like his grappling like is just stuck where it is. He's 8 fights in, and
Yeah.
he's like, in my opinion, he still has room to improve, and he's training with such a good team. He's training with such a good partner as well. Glover Teixeira, like that's the perfect guy to teach you the grappling, and to spar with as well. Yeah, I think Pereira's just gonna like he's just gonna be better everywhere, dude. Like I don't know, there's just matchups. I'm not saying Adesanya doesn't have a chance. I agree that I think Adesanya's best chance is to knock him out if he's more aggressive, if he's more like willing
I
to
think he
go
has to
forward.
for it, man. Yeah.
Yeah, he has to go. Like when he went for it, he was doing well. Like that's what it is, and I think it's going to be an exciting fight. I think that both of them are going to hurt each other, but I think Pereira is going to win that shootout every day. So I think decision more favor for Pereira, honestly, because of his leg kicks, because he's able to kind of hurt Izzy. And I think if it's a finish, it's probably going to be Pereira, like round 2, round 3. But I feel like if Izzy wins, it's going to be like when the Phoenix Suns were down like 50 to the Mavericks and Chris Paul hit the 3. It's like it doesn't really matter. You're down. You're still down by a fucking million, bro. So
Yeah.
it's not.
No,
It doesn't
I
really
think that's-
like matter, bro.
Yeah.
Like-
But, they will not do a trilogy if Izzy wins. I don't think they will.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think so either.
Go ahead.
This is the
I mean,
worst part.
unless
It's a war.
first of all, unless Whitaker wins like the number 1 contender fight, like beats Hamzat, or it's and this fight is super entertaining, they may do a trilogy.
But I think
I-
that even if Whitaker does win, unless Whitaker wins, if Izzy, yeah, you're right, because they're not going to want to do that fight again.
No.
But I
Yeah,
don't
I
think
could
that the
see that.
UFC can deny Whitaker if he wins one more time against a Hamza. I don't think that they'll possibly be able to do that.
No,
Yeah,
they have
How
to
can
do.
you
They have
beat
to give him
Hamza
tough
and
fight.
not get a title shot after?
Because the Izzy 3 fight is not going to do numbers at all. I think Pereira, because if they see that
I mean,
the
who
first
else
two
do you
Pereira
give it
fights-
to though? There's
Yeah, but if you
literally
see
no
the
one
first
else.
2 Pereira fights were great, they're going to want to do it
then
again.
they'll maybe do a
Yeah,
rematch.
yeah.
but
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
I still think and this is a hot take, guys. I think Robert Whitaker is the second best middleweight ever. I really do. I know that sounds like that. I know some
skill
people
for
might be like,
skill,
"Oh, you're out of
skill
your
for
mind."
skill, maybe. Skill for
I just
skill.
think it's resume. I literally think it's
Yeah,
resume.
resume,
Robert
I
Whitaker
agree.
Literally has a better resume than Israel Adesanya.
Yeah.
Izzy's
agree. I
resume
actually
is
agree.
too questionable, bro. Robert Whitaker's only really lost 3 times. Izzy's lost fucking more than 3 times at this point in the UFC. He's lost to Pereira. He lost to Romero. He lost to Whitaker. I know I sound like a madman. Like I can't accept it.
No, dude, no.
I
What was-
honestly
what-
think
what-
so because Whitaker beat Yoel twice. Izzy didn't even
Yeah.
fucking beat him. That
Yeah.
I don't even give that fight to Izzy. If you want to do no one wins that fight, I'm cool with it.
Romero
beat
changed his
that
career,
twice.
bro.
Yeah,
Dude, that left hand changed Izzy's career for fucking ever, dude.
It
He
did.
never
It
never
did,
tried
you're
again after that. He went boring after that one, dude.
that was the one shot that completely ruined Israel Adesanya. After that, like he
Yeah,
never.
yeah.
I just want to
except
see
for the Costa
Hamzat
fight,
fight
which is
Izzy.
the next one, but yeah.
I
Hamza.
wanna see
Okay, let's
Hamzat
talk
just
Hamza.
fucking beat the shit out of Izzy.
You think that?
Yeah,
Oh,
let's
say it.
talk
I
Hamzat
want
a
to
little
talk
bit.
about this fight, Hamzat and Whitaker. I honestly think Whitaker's going to beat him. But I want to hear your takes. Now, I could see Hamzat getting Whitaker, but I think his chance is in the first round. I really do. I don't think after that first
Yeah.
round, I think Whitaker runs away with it because I could see Khamzat's like just pressure and relentlessness, his high level wrestling. I think he will be able to get Whitaker down. And if anyone could keep him there for a little bit, it's probably Khamzat, and that's where he has a chance to submit him. I just think that as he gets more tired, as he expends all that energy, I think that Whitaker's takedown defense is solid enough to be able to like gain steam. And I think his striking is just worlds different than anyone Khamzat's ever fought. Gilbert Burns, dude, if Gilbert is giving Khamzat the war of his life, Whitaker is going to fuck him up badly on the feet.
I think a lot of that was Khamzat too, bro. Yeah, I think
Khamzat has
kind of put
better,
himself in that
like,
war.
Whitaker's just a different dude. Gilbert has gotten TKO'd by fucking Dan Hooker and Kamaru. They're good strikers, but just Whitaker's literally the best that there is. I mean, there is Pereira in the division and Izzy as well, but it's kind of crazy how middleweight, despite it not being a great division, has like 3 of the best strikers in the UFC.
Top 3 is really good. Yeah, the rest is just kind of shit. Like,
exactly.
You know,
I think Khamzat beats Whitaker.
Damn, dude. What happens if it gets to the second? You don't think Whitaker's wrestling is going to be?
It's a complete hot take. I think he submits him in the first round.
Okay, I mean that's interesting.
Crazy hot take. I mean, look,
best chance.
This is what I'm going to say though. Is look, I know he stuffed takedowns from Yoel Romero, but Yoel Romero hasn't had the most success in the wrestling field in MMA. I know outside of MMA he has. I think Khamzat's relentless. Like, it's going to go straight at Whitaker. And I think he's going to keep working until he does take him down. I think when he's on the ground, how good is Whitaker on his back? You know, like we don't know. I think
that's a good point.
I think Khamzat gets him in the first round. But like you said, if it does go out of the first round, if Whitaker can prove that he can handle Khamzat's grappling, someone handle it, he's going to win the fight though. That's if Whitaker can. It's crazy to say, but I think if Whitaker gets it out of the first and second round, he's for sure going to win the fight. But I think Khamzat's going to submit or finish him off in the first ground and pound in the first round. I also think we're underrating Khamzat striking a bit. Like I think he's a very good striker. We were talking about Islam Makhachev striking before. I think Khamzat's a better striker than Islam, straight up, pure striking. Maybe not defense, but I think pure striking. I think he's better than Islam. I think he's got more power.
I disagree with that.
I agree about the power, but I disagree about his striking. I agree that he has more power.
I think it's cleaner.
But how can you say that when he
looks nicer?
His face was basically falling off.
I didn't say the defense. I didn't say the defense. I said his striking, his technique. He's got. It looks cleaner than Islam's does. Islam's is good, but it's not like that clean. Khamzat goes conventional to.
I understand that.
He goes to unorthodox, like stuff like that, and he's a good striker. He's a good technical striker, and I think we could be underestimating him on the feet. But
he has power.
I think he finishes Whitaker in the first round. Yeah. He does have power. I don't think he finishes Whitaker. I don't think he KOs Whitaker. Like, I think Whitaker does have the advantage on the feet, but I think that he gets Whitaker down. I think Whitaker hasn't been tested on his back, and I think he finishes him either by a submission or by ground and pound. But I think that's a great fight. I don't necessarily know if I want to see it next because we've talked about it so many times. Like, we want Khamzat to be double champ. Like, this guy is star potential. You know, the sky's the limit in terms of his talent and stuff like that. Like, I generally think Khamzat could be the GOAT. You know what I mean? Like,
damn.
It's unfortunate.
He has the potential,
He's got the potential, and it would be a shame if we never see him win the 170-pound belt first. You know what I mean? Like, because this guy,
it's such a mistake, dude. Why the fuck is he going up to take Whitaker?
I know, middleweight's so much harder,
Dude, he could wait until Whitaker's older.
The problem is that the immediate rematch. It comes down to the immediate rematch bullshit. Like, nobody. Like, I'm sorry, guys. Like, what would people rather see? Khamzat Chimaev versus Leon Edwards in the UK, or Usman Edwards 3? Khamzat Chimaev versus Edwards. Nobody gives a shit about Usman. Like, I've never seen real people say that they're Usman fans. You know what I mean? Like,
I actually like Usman.
I like Usman, but like look at their following on Instagram. Hamzat's been in the UFC, has 5 fights in the UFC. He's got triple the followers that Usman has. Like, there's a reason for that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
No,
like, he's a huge star.
I do like Usman though. Like, I actually like
I
Usman.
like him, but there's not Usman fans. Like,
I'm not an Usman fan. Like, there are many guys in that division I'd root for instead of Usman, you know?
Yeah.
I agree.
He's not like the most entertaining guy. Like you know what I mean? Like Hamza is,
but he is more deserving. I think there has to be some room for that, or else we're gonna get Paddy Pimblett fighting for the belt and shit like that. You know what I mean? If we go down all the way that rabbit hole, but Hamza does. If he stayed at welterweight, I think he could be champion. Like he could. I think he beats Colby. I think he has a good chance to beat Leon. I think Usman's probably his toughest test, but even then, I'd probably pick him to beat.
I think
he beat Usman. But Whitaker, I actually think he has a decent chance on the feet, just simply because he has power, bro.
Yeah, dude, he has power, bro. You're right.
Dude, Whitaker's chinny, bro. I love Whitaker.
Also, Whitaker, I think Whitaker would beat him about the takedowns, though. Even
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think in terms of Islam versus Hamza, in terms of striking, I think Islam is more clean, more overall, like technically better. But I think Hamza is better in terms of you effectively using his striking to get a finish. I think he has a better chance of KOing someone on the feet than Islam does. That's what I think. And I think especially Whitaker, who's very chinny, I can just see Whitaker doing well and then just walking into a giant left hook or like an uppercut and just getting like this, like the chicken legs that he usually gets, especially against Romero. You know what I mean? I can just see Whitaker doing the chicken dance against Hamza and then falling into maybe a choke or something. I think he'll do well defensively grappling. I mean, Kevin Holland was scrambling good with Hamza, and I think Whitaker is the level up of a grappler compared to Kevin Holland. You know what I mean? He's smaller as well, so he's bigger. I think he'll have a bit of a Volkanovski effect in terms of being able to get back up, being able to defend. He trains with good guys, bro. His jiu-jitsu is fucking next level. I think Whitaker is almost underrated as a grappler. So
we haven't seen.
I'd lean probably Whitaker decision, a close decision. I could see him getting dropped though, or getting hurt really, but I can just see him doing the chicken dance. Like I can just see it, bro.
I will say this, like whenever we talk about guys with good takedown defense, they never fail to like, prove it every single time. Aldo literally has never really failed to show his takedown defense.
No, exactly.
I even thought going against Merab, he's older, you never know. He stuffed every single fucking takedown. Robert Whitaker does get taken down, like he has been taken down, but his ability to get up is like so fucking impressive.
Who did he get taken down by?
He got taken down by Yoel. And
Yoel's
not known for that, but he has been taken down by other guys too. He has been taken down throughout his career, and he's just unstoppable. Like as far as his scrambles go. But
if anyone's going to catch him in a scramble, it's going to be Hamza. If anyone's going to out scramble him, it's going to be Hamza with his jiu-jitsu. I can see him like catching a DOS or something.
I think Hamza like is a more dangerous grappler than basically anyone outside of Islam and
I
Charles.
think he's more dangerous
like
than
Hamza's top three. He might be just offensively.
I think that's right. Yeah, he might be offensively better. Yeah,
I think
offensively might be better.
UFC. I think that this weekend
I could see it. I could see it, but we do have to admit that there was a reason he didn't want to continue to engage with Gilbert Burns, whereas Islam did engage with Charles the entire first round.
But he should have though. Like that was his mistake,
It was, but he also clearly felt something that he didn't like.
But I think he made him. I think if they rematched, he would have, and I think he would have finished Burns even easier.
I think that's fine too.
Also, you got to remember, you got to remember the reason Islam did finish Charles because of the striking. Charles was doing decently well on the ground.
Yeah, you're right.
That. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking that let's just think of the opponents before Charles. Whatever. Like he had that fight with Drew Dober where he had a hard time getting him out. He had that fight with Thiago Moises that he had a hard time getting him out. Hamza Chimaev, he's picking up the leash and bringing him to Dana White and not even getting hit once. He's not getting hit by
he's
Kevin
extremely
Holland.
Impressive. You're right. And that's why I think that if any grappler has a chance to beat Whitaker, it's Hamza, The one thing I will say is
best grappler in the UFC.
I will say whoever loses, this is one of those fights where I actually won't care, even though they're both in my top 3 favorite fighters. Whitaker and Hamza are 2 and 3, and regardless of what happens, I'll be happy. If Whitaker wins, I'll be happy. Even if Hamza wins, I'll be happy. And if Whitaker loses, it's all good. He lost to Hamza, and I like Hamza. I want Hamza to be double, triple champ. And if Whitaker wins, it's like, shit, man, Whitaker's as good as I've always been saying, So I'll be happy either way. I'll be cool with it either way. I hope it's, if Hamza wins, I would prefer to see him submit Whitaker early rather than knock him out, just because it'd be sad to see Whitaker get KO'd. But if I think Whitaker is going to be I think he's going to try to sun him. I think he's going to be mean. He's going to, his performance against Marvin Vettori was mean, he was really fucking him up. And I think he's going to go with the side kicks to the knee. I also heard him talking to his coach on submission. No, he was talking to Michael Bisping. And he was saying that after the Izzy loss, he went back to the drawing board and started to completely change the way that he trains. And he said that he was kind of complacent with his training style. He was just kind of trying to level up what he already was good at. But nowadays, he's trying to completely go in there with a different mentality. Like he's trying to level up in places that he doesn't really look at all that often. And I think we're going to see an improved Robert Whittaker. And the guy just keeps getting better. So I could see him demolishing Khamzat. Like I really could. But it's interesting because I could still see Khamzat winning. I can't wait to see it, man. This guy says Khamzat's hungrier. He might be, but I still think Whittaker's the way Whittaker sounds. If you've been listening to his interviews, he sounds like he really, really wants to fight for a belt again. Like he's in his prime and he has a chip on his shoulder because a lot of people thought that he won against Izzy and he wants to win the belt again. And
Whittaker has lost though before. Khamzat never has. So he's going to try things that Whittaker isn't.
Khamzat never lost.
He's going to try things that Whittaker won't risk. You know what I'm saying? Like, what if he marches forward full energy against Whittaker? Like, I don't know if he's going to be ready for
the knee, bro.
I don't know if anyone
he hyperextends it.
Like, I don't know if anyone can take that from Khamzat. You know what I mean? Like, straight up. Like, I know Burns.
I just don't think Whittaker has to worry about the same thing on the feet that he did with Yoel. You know, like Yoel had that like next level power. I just don't think.
But on the ground, who's more dangerous, Yoel or Khamzat when they
definitely
get to the
Khamzat,
ground?
Yeah. And I think that they're going to be similar sized. I also don't think Khamzat's going to be.
By the way, I want to say something about someone keeps saying Whittaker is huge. He's not big. He was literally a 170-pounder before.
He's not small. Like his legs are.
He's not small.
He's a big 85er, but he's not like a 205 guy cutting down.
He cuts a lot of weight.
He's a solid size 85er. Yeah, like he's big.
He's shredded, dude. When he weighs in, he's like really shredded. You know, he
wasn't
big too, as shredded as he used to be when he first went up to 185. He wasn't as like lean.
Yeah, he was smaller.
Very shredded when he weighs in.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, do you see that Dan Hooker is not fighting Jalen Turner? You think
I know, it pisses me off, man. I think Drew Dober should fight him.
That's going to be Moicano, I reckon. I feel it's going to be Moicano, but it should be Dober. It should be the GOAT
Dober, but I think Moicano maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know. Moicano doesn't do anything for me. Jalen Turner, like who'd he beat? Brad Riddell. I guess Moicano's a step up, but like I feel like you know what really pisses me off. I looked at the top 5 lightweight rankings the other day, and it's still a bunch of American flag overrated.
Poirier, Chandler,
Chandler, and Poirier. I'll give it to him. He kind of does deserve to be in there. But Chandler and Gagey are still in the top 5, and it pisses me the fuck off.
I know.
Like,
well, Gaethje's gonna get knocked out by Fiziev, and Chandler.
Thank God. Fiziev's gonna have a new flag in there.
After fucking Volk versus Islam, when Bisping was like, "Who do you want to fight? Do you want to fight Poirier?" I was like, I swear to God, if Poirier gets a title shot, I'm done. I'm done, bro. I'm sick of them fighting once. They fight each other. They
fight once a year.
Yeah, I want a title shot next. Yeah, and then they sit out the whole year until they get a title shot. It's ridiculous.
Dude, I hate that shit.
But yeah, Turner.
Yeah.
I think Turner's gonna stay on the 285 card. I think if he wanted to fight Dober, he's gonna have to go to April because Dober said, I'm fighting in April. I can't make March.
What about Armin?
So I think he's gonna take fucking. That'd be good. But I don't think Armin will do it.
Armin needs to step up. That's the thing. It's like I don't even want to see Jalen and Armin because it's no different than Armin versus Magulov. I need to see them get cranked up to the rankings.
I need Armin versus Poirier. Yeah.
It pisses me
off.
Poirier's
not gonna fight Armin.
Fiziev's the only guy getting that chance, and like, dude, it really pisses me off because I can see Poirier like actually getting a shot at Islam. I could see Dana White just sitting there saying, he's a big star. The fans want to see it. Who doesn't want to see Poirier versus Islam?
I can see it. I can see
what
it,
they'll
dude.
do? Steve will knock out Gaethje, and then they'll have him fight Poirier.
I mean, I think that'd be cool. That'd be cool. Fiziev, Poirier, I'd love to see that because then you get rid of 2 of those guys.
Fiziev's gonna fix the division for everyone.
Honestly, guys, I don't even like Poirier. I like his style. He's obviously like one of my favorite fighters.
He's just being a bitch.
Entertainment. I just don't like him personality-wise. Like I've never liked him that much.
Yeah.
Also, that he doesn't want to fight guys like Armin or Benny because they're not big fights. Like, dude, you're in the you're second in the division. Like, you're holding up everyone. If you're not,
and actually, they are because I feel like fans are starting to catch on that, like, we don't want any more of these Gaethjes. We want them gone. I hate Justin Gaethje. I can't stand him
because he just sits on the sideline talking shit and he fights once a year.
Dude, he came out with a video. The Schmo interviewed him, and Justin Gaethje said, "Yeah, like he was talking about Conor. Said that guy only fights people I already beat up. Like, what? One guy." Gaethje said this about Conor. He said Conor only fights guys that he beats up, that Gaethje's already beat. And I'm looking at it like, bro, he lost to Eddie Alvarez, You know, Gagey got KO'd by Eddie Alvarez. You know, he lost to Dustin Poirier as well. He lost to Habib, like he got finished way worse than Conor did. Gagey, I fucking hate that guy.
I
Like,
know, dude.
fun,
And he
bro,
talks
to be
he
real.
talks a lot of shit, but people like I feel like now people don't like him, but he was talking a lot of shit, and people were like, "Yo, I love Gaethje, dude. I hate McGregor." But it's like
They're
Gaethje's
always
sitting on the
yeah.
sideline saying some nasty shit all the time, and then he
And when
fights once a
Gagey
year.
trash talks, it's never in like a joking, like
No, it's
banter
personal. It's
way.
very
He's just
personal. It's
rude.
very serious.
He's a
Yeah.
jerk.
Gagey's an
Yeah.
asshole, dude. He's and I don't care if he's like a social worker. He's an asshole nonetheless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. He does give me the vibes. Yeah.
I always hear like, you know, Jesse on Fire, you know, people like that being like, dude, Justin Gagey, like angel, bro. Like you don't get better than Justin Gagey. Like you would never, that guy's going to heaven. You know what I mean? Like, dude,
Maybe he's nice to his friends, but he's not. He's not a nice guy on like
he's a nice
interviews.
guy
He
to
doesn't
his
strike
friends,
me as-
but
yeah.
like he's a little bit of a dickhead, you know?
Yeah, he does give me. He's same with Poirier. I feel like Poirier is like everyone's like, oh, I love Poirier. He's such a nice, humble guy. I don't get those vibes at all. I get like little crybaby, like diva vibes from him.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
He's always got
shoved
something to
Chandler
complain
after
about.
the fight.
That was so.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so weird, dude. And he's always
after the
complaining.
Hooker
He's always got
fight,
something
dude.
to complain about, bro.
Exactly.
Yeah.
After the
Also,
Hooker fight, dude, he
Hooker's-
went up to
Hooker's
Dan
annoying
Hooker and
as
was like,
fuck
"Oh,
also.
you're gonna
Yeah.
beat me up." You're
Dude, I
gonna
made a
beat
whole
up
video
Gagey?"
about it, bro. Fucking Dustin,
I
man.
fucking hate
Dustin,
that
bro.
shit, dude.
Yeah, I made a whole video about it, bro.
Well,
Dustin,
Hooker's
bro.
also very annoying as the dude.
Yeah, but
talks
Hooker's kind of
about
like he's
being-
kind of
Hooker's
banter. Like
at
that's how
least-
we kind of do it
Hooker's
over here.
like
We
a
kind of
joker,
banter,
though,
yeah.
you know? Hooker's kind of
Yeah.
like a jokester.
Yeah, we kind of bant. Like he's being a bit sarcastic when he bant, but
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Americans don't get sarcasm, like the way that Hooker does it and shit like that. Like, it is
I don't
very-
mind Hooker at all. Like, you know, I don't mind it. He said, like, when's the last time the Dagestanis had, you know, the odds against them? Like, they literally
Yeah.
never have been
bro.
against the odds, bro. Like, the
You
Dagestanis
guys
need
want
their
to talk about
pedicures before the fights and all
Benny?
this shit.
You guys want to talk about Oliveira Benny?
We could talk about that. We also have Usman
God.
Edwards, and I'm actually picking Usman, by the way.
Ooh, so you want,
Damn.
Yeah, dude, I'm picking Usman.
all
Just
right,
like
you
the
want to talk
first
about
time.
that first?
I'm picking Usman for the same reason I picked him the first time, but this time I'm more confident because I didn't watch it back recently. I won't lie. I was about to say I watched it back just on autopilot, but I didn't watch it back recently. I just remember, bro, Usman was teeing off on Edwards for 3 rounds, and of course he got taken down, which was a bad look, and Edwards is dangerous on the ground. I just think like Leon Edwards is not a powerful guy, like for sure. He has some pop in his hands. This is not a guy that's been dropping people on the come up. I know he has like one of the fastest KOs in UFC history, but he's known for like, you know, going to razor close, boring decisions with people. He's not dropping guys. He doesn't have heavy hands. And if Usman just spends time preparing for the kick and knows that he should not strike with Leon Edwards in the middle of the cage, I think he takes him down, rinse and repeat. And I think he could hold him there and coast out to a boring decision. Listen, people gave Usman shit for the boring decision he had over Jorge. It is what it is. If that's what you need to do to win, I think he will do that. And I think he'll get it done. And this time, I don't think it even needs to be that boring. I think you have a little bit of what he did in that Jorge first fight, and you combine it with the striking he had against the cage with Leon. I think he wins. Now, the one thing I will say that worries me in picking Usman, and I actually want Edwards to win kind of just because it'd be cool to see him knock Usman out in the UK. I am worried that Edwards only really gasped because of the altitude. Now, there is something to be said about him gassing in front of a wrestler, and like, you know, Usman's pace is just ridiculous, and we've seen it time and time again. Usman always like breaks guys and outpaces them, except for Colby. I really think that the altitude did play a factor, so I could definitely see, you know, Edwards being more competitive in the middle rounds. I just think that if Usman really puts his foot on the gas and like just goes for takedowns and striking up against the fence, I think he just runs away with it. I really do. I think he could dominate the fight. And I don't know if, you know, Edwards KO'd him with one shot, and I know that was set up with skill, and I'm not going to ever sit here and say it was luck, but I just think it's Usman makes an easier adjustment. Edwards, he trained for years to get ready for Usman again in the rematch, and he still got dominated in the wrestling. It's so hard to make up the ground against a wrestler, and it's easier to make an adjustment against a striker who hit you with a head kick. And I have to go with Usman, man. I just feel like he's going to get it done. He's different. Like Usman, before Edwards knocked him out, had the aura of invincibility. Like he really did. Like we were all looking at Usman. He was about to tie Anderson Silva's win streak. Like,
yeah.
He is right outside top 10 best fighters of all time. Like I just think Edwards, although Edwards is good, I think Usman's just different, bro. I think he's going to get it done. What do you guys think?
Oh, man. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, let's hear it.
All right, cool. I feel like the altitude played such a. It's really hard to pick because I feel like I feel like a lot of us are kind of not really are happy that Leon won, which I will admit I am one of them. I did enjoy seeing Leon flatline KO Usman. I did enjoy that quite a lot. But I feel like a lot of us are kind of ignoring how well Usman was doing, especially in the striking against the cage. And some of that had to do with the fatigue and all that stuff. But I think a lot of it was also his pressure and his wrestling. But Leon's defense was actually quite good. Like, he took him down. He got his back. He did quite well off his back. His grappling, I feel like Leon's straight jiu-jitsu is more threatening than Usman's. I think when it hits the ground, Leon actually has a better chance than Usman in terms of finding a submission, being able to defend himself, not let him pass guard, not let him get good positions, maybe get back up. His striking as well, I think it's weird. He has more adjustments and he has more confidence to make as well. Like, he has more confidence going into this one from knocking out Usman, which I think will affect Usman in some way or another, maybe make him more wrestling heavy, make him kind of easier to predict for maybe an uppercut or a knee or something like that could hurt him. And we've seen Usman hurt a lot even before he got knocked out. I think his chin is a bit of a question mark now, even more than ever. But I mean, against Colby, he was getting rocked a lot, dude. And Leon has a lot more power than Colby in terms of technical striking accuracy. That gave him so much power, you know what I mean? Do I think him or Colby are power punchers? No, but I think Leon is a lot more accurate than Colby, a lot more precise. He's able to hurt these guys, especially going forward. And I think if he goes forward and he strikes out in the open, like you said, he's able to hurt him, right?
Yeah.
I think Leon has a good chance to win like a close decision, but I wouldn't be surprised if Usman wins. It's actually a pick 'em for me, honestly. I need to see their like a lot of my picks. It comes from I see them in the same room. I see them interact with each other, bro. When I see the press conference, I'm gonna fucking know. I'm gonna be like, dude, Usman knows he's fucked, or like Usman knows he's gonna win. That sometimes does matter, kind of where you're at psychologically, especially if you've been knocked out. Like, that does matter. So I think that has to be a factor in this fight as much as the technical side. So I probably lean Leon, but like 55-45, like in terms of percentage of who wins. It's a close fight though.
I think Leon wins. I think Leon's going to come in super confident. Usman will be a little tentative. I think the altitude played a huge factor as we saw Leon come out there winning the first round, then just completely being a different fighter in every other round of the fight. So I just I think the confidence will come into handy for this fight. I think the UK crowd will be big, as we saw with the Volk Islam fight. Really helped Volk out. And I think Usman's an amazing wrestler. I just think that I just completely see Leon just being more confident, being a lot more like he was in the first round, and winning a close, maybe a controversial decision.
Yeah.
So that's my prediction.
I'm looking forward to the press conference. I really hope Fiziev talks shit about Justin Gaethje. I hope if Fiziev can get some lines, bro, I would literally do anything to get Rafael Fiziev some lines against Justin Gaethje just to catch him off guard. Justin Gaethje does not expect Fiziev, a guy with a thick accent, to shit talk him in a clever way.
See, but Fiziev strikes me as someone who likes to do that though, so he might. He does strike me as a shit talker. Yeah.
I don't think he respects Justin Gaethje. He's always talking about how impressed he is by Islam, how he's only Fiziev always says that he's training for Islam. It doesn't matter who he's fighting, he's always training for Islam. He's the best in the world. I don't think he's gonna respect Justin. I think he'll call him sloppy. He'll be you lose all your fights, brother.
Dude, imagine if Gaethje that comes around though and's like, "Why didn't you pay your fees in Thailand, motherfucker?" And just turns it on him and just fucking the whole crowd.
Gaethje's to do that.
Yeah, Gaethje doesn't have nothing up his sleeve, man. I hope Gaethje. Honestly, I hope that he gets shit talk in this one. I wish there were more big names on the card though. It's gonna be a good one because the UK crowds are always nice. I just feel like they could.
I wish Aspinall was on it.
I know, man. I wish Aspinall got on it too, but he's still recovering. Darren Till should be on this shit, bro.
Yeah, dude. At least we have Vittori on the press conference. We'll have Vittori up there screaming,
bro. Yeah, Marvin Vittori, man. Yeah, but they have Vittori, right? Him and Delidzi.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm looking, but I don't know if Delidzi's gonna shit talk at all.
No, he won't.
I don't think so. But Vittori's gonna be up there screaming
on Saturday night. That's what he'll say. Some bullshit.
Right.
But yeah. I'm excited. I'm really excited for that card. Honestly, I'm more. It's just a shame that they didn't add more to these cards. Like the John Jones card, like it could have been so much better.
They should
like,
have added Hamzat and Whitaker to that shit, bro. The UFC,
would've been
Whitaker
awesome.
was getting ready for a fight. You should have just said, all right, let's just
or
push
even
it
the London
Do it in
card,
March, yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
or Bilal Colby. You know what I mean?
I know,
Yeah.
man. I know. They
Yeah.
could have
I
done
feel like
more.
they're trying to spread stuff out too much. Like they're
They're
putting
always worried about making a fucking main event for a fight night in like 5 months away, you know?
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and
Right.
like nobody cares for like a fucking like a Valentina Shevchenko co-main for John Jones. Like, come on now.
I know, man. Like, I understand it's an interesting fight, but just give us
Is
like
it?
it's not interesting. Who's she going up against? Grasso?
Yeah, like
It's
it's
not interesting at all, actually.
I know, man.
Yeah.
Fuck.
The only
Then
interesting
Nunes-
fight for Shevchenko, honestly, if I'm gonna be real, I know she had a competitive one with Santos, but it's like maybe Blanchfield and it's
Blanchfield, Whaley would be good.
Whaley, I guess, and Nunes. That'd be cool again.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just wish that they would have added like a big co-main to Jones. If they had done,
I agree.
you know,
Colby Bilal.
I know Colby would have been great,
Yeah.
but Colby hates
Colby
Jones.
and
He
Jones on
probably
the same
wouldn't wanna fight.
conference. Oh, that would have been so good.
Or Colby
Wow.
on the UK card against Bilal.
Yeah, Colby
Like,
versus
that
Hamza
would've
would have been good
great
on that card.
Colby
Colby will never fight
Usman,
Hamza.
Leon.
Yeah, I know.
My only
Yeah.
fear about Leon winning though is that like Masvidal may win 2 and then like Hamza will get skipped over again.
I just think if Hamzat's moving to middleweight, I honestly wouldn't mind it because I would like to see Jorge fight Leon if there was no Hamzat involved.
But I think Hamza, like, I just can't like if one of those guys wins, like I think he's gonna ask for a shot, like right there. Like I think he'll be like, I'll see you soon or something. Like I think he'll go with like whatever opportunity is easier to get to. And
That's
think
what I like about Hamza.
he will
Hamza to
open
me is
up right
playing too
away.
many games, bro. He needs to just decide on something and do it.
I think he just loves fighting too much, like which is like
But he's not
It's
doing
like-
it. Like if he loved fighting too much, he would just fight. That's the
I
thing.
think he's
dude.
trying to fight. I think people are turning him down, and now I think he's looking at
Whitaker's
other
saying
reasons.
yes, though. You know. So
Yeah,
we
I
gotta
think
make
I
the
think
fight.
I think it's up to the UFC now, though. You know, like
I
don't know if
respect.
the
I like
UFC
that he called out Whitaker too. No one's calling out Whitaker. That's a tough fight, bro.
Nobody ever calls out Whitaker.
Respects for him to calling out Whitaker to be like, I want to fight him. Like that's
Yeah.
Nobody
no
calls
one's
out.
calling him out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I bet you, like Hamza said 4 guys turned him down. Who do you guys think, like looking back, who do you think those 4 guys were?
Colby.
I think it was Colby,
Bilal, Colby.
Yep.
Leon for sure.
Probably
Maybe if they offered Leon a fight with him in December or something like that.
Yeah.
maybe
and
Masvidal.
Leon-
I could see maybe Masvidal like they.
No,
turned-
I think it's Costa. I think Costa.
Yeah, Costa maybe. Yeah, for the money probably. Yeah.
Apparently, Costa's gonna fight Strickland.
I love
They
that
need that
fight.
on the Izzy Pereira card. They need him on the Izzy Pereira card. They
That
need
would be-
Strickland up
that
there.
would
But
make
knowing
that
the
card-
UFC, they'll probably make that on a fight night because they don't
yeah,
know what to do.
yeah.
Fight
pisses
night
me
main
off.
event in like July.
I know, bro. That was
In the Apex somehow. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Man,
Some
March
others.
is going to be amazing though. We have UFC 285, 286, and we have Piotr Jan Marab. Like it's a great month. So
When
I'm
is
really looking forward-
also Sandhagen versus
I think that was moved to April. No.
really?
No, it's March. It's the San Antonio card. It's in March.
Oh, so it's the same. Yeah, March is going to be the
Yeah,
best
bro.
month.
Yeah.
we have
it's San
4
Antonio.
straight weeks of great fights.
God damn.
What's next week? Is that Blanchfield next week? Is
Yeah,
there a fight
Blanchfield
next week?
Andrade. Yeah,
I need to
Blanchfield
look at that
Andrade.
card. I need to look at that card because like
It's
Honestly,
terrible.
that main event is not that bad.
It's a good main event, but the rest of the
Straight
card
up.
is fucking.
Blanchfield Andrade is interesting. I actually wouldn't mind watching that. It's pretty
Yeah.
competitive.
That's
The
a
rest of
good
the card
fight.
sucks. You got William Knight as the featured fight.
Yeah.
How do I even find the card? Like UFC, maybe look up UFC 284.
I
Try
Google
lost
UFC.
Stan. Oh my gosh.
When it comes up.
Jordan Wright.
Yeah, Jordan Wright co-main event, dude.
What is that? Josh Parisian. This is a joke, man. This is a
Fuck,
joke.
man.
I
Good
cannot.
matchmaking,
Jim
boys.
Miller. See, this doesn't make sense. Why is Jim Miller and Alexander Hernandez on the prelims, but Jordan Wright is on the co-main event? Like that doesn't make. Jim Miller has a
Oh,
name. Alexander
God.
Hernandez has a name.
I guess their logic is no one's gonna watch the prelims if we don't put anyone good on it. But it's like, dude, put that as the co-main.
Dude, I just listen. The thing is, I actually don't even mind these. It's just, market it differently. Like
Yeah.
you have to market it. You have to market the Apex fight nights completely differently. Bedtime. You've discussed it. You've heard me discuss it. I think
Yeah.
that they need to do these, non-stacked fight nights and market them as like, the next contenders
These
in
are
the
up and
UFC.
comers, yeah,
Exactly. But they don't. They just market it as like, here's another fight night and a great main event. Like, they need to change it up. Bro. They really need to change it up.
It's weird how Dana shits on boxing, but
every once in a while.
Yeah.
Because
Dana
then you
shits
have
on
events
boxing,
like
but like,
last
that's
week.
how he match makes, yeah.
And then you have events like last week that there's only 2 good fights and you're waiting the whole time to watch them. And then those fights end quick, then you're just like, fuck,
Dude, I just, man, this is pissing me off. Wait, March 4th is that interesting, man? Because we
have a 4-week stint of John Jones, Ciryl Gane, Jan versus Marab, Edwards Usman 3, Marlon Vera versus Sanhagen. 4 weeks.
And then UFC 287 is the second, 2 weeks later. But
dude,
we have Krylov and Span the 25th, which is in 2 weeks. Munoz, Brendan Allen. I mean, listen, those are interesting fights, but I just wish that they actually cared about these cards,
I know. Like some of them, they knock it out the park, and then the rest, they kind of like, oh, whatever.
I know,
like, they just chucked. Yeah.
What did they do with Sanhagen, Jan, and Volkov and Romanov? That's good. Ricardo Lamas is good. Said Nurmagomedov. Who else is on there?
They got a decent card for that one, for the Marab Jan.
It's all right. Mario Batista, Guido Canetti, Victor Henry.
And with the crowd, I don't really care as much about the card because I know it's going to be entertaining with the crowd. They're going to fight much better, In the Apex, it's kind of like, okay, I want some good fights here if there's no crowd to kind of hype this up.
Oh, man. Sanhagen and Marlon Vera is a really good card. So the co-main sucks. It's Holly Holm versus Yana Kunitskaya. But you have Alex Caceres and Nate Landwehr. That's a banger.
Ooh.
You have Chidi Njokwani and Albert Duraev. That's a good fight. Trevin, I mean, like, it's all right. Alex Perez, no cap, is really good.
Yeah, that's good.
That's a good fight. So, I mean, there's some good fights on there.
It'll be good with the crowd too. They're gonna be hyped, bro.
Dude, UFC 287, I like it. Rob Font, Adrian Yanez, Kevin Holland, Santiago Pinal, Raul Rosas is back, bro. This is big.
If they put
Mearshart and Pfeiffer, that's a fucking sick.
Oh, the goat, the middleweight goat.
Yeah, Mearshart. And then Holloway and Allen is the week after that.
If they put Costa versus Strickland on that card, it does close to $1 million. Straight up.
I honestly think it might, bro. But like, Masvidal still has some remnants of a name,
Yeah.
So
and Izzy's got a decent name. Pereira, yeah.
Pereira, it's a good fight.
That does.
I'm gonna guess like 600, 700K if everything stays together, or they add another big fight.
How much do you think John Jones versus Gane does?
They didn't add anything else that was big.
I'm gonna say
hardcore fans know the other fighters, but I think it's gonna get like 600K, 500K, like maybe 700.
I think it may flop a little bit.
I think so too. They should have had another big 5-round co-main event feature fight.
I agree.
Like, I think it still does good. I think it still does good, but like I don't think it does more than like 500.
No, I think if they got O'Malley versus Cejudo on there, it would have done a lot better.
Yeah, or O'Malley. Exactly, man. They should have done that.
Should have done an interim title fight. That would have probably added another 100K, I reckon.
Yeah. Massa Jim Miller. I didn't know Jim Miller had some Drew Dober.
Oh man, is he part of the Drew Dober shit as well? Oh my god.
No way, dude. Drew.
Drew Dober got caught slipping on IG, bro. God damn.
Really?
Did you see that?
I saw the live stream. What do you mean he got caught slipping? I saw the live stream though. A little bit of it. I saw a little bit of it. I love his comments, dude. I love going to Drew Dober. Hap Chandler's nightmare is one of the top comments for Drew Dober's thing.
I like how he doesn't know. He's like, who's Hop Chandler?
Dude, he knows. I think he's just, how is he not like, Drew Dober must be so uncomfortable, bro. Big dude, dog, big
smiling.
Look at the emoji, dog, bear, lion. Oh my god.
Oh my god,
I'm following him, bro. But I'm not gonna comment that shit. I'm just gonna fucking watch, Drew Dober's such a fucking nice guy, but like I love the meme.
Oh, dude, why is Jim Miller being in the meme so funny to me, bro? Oh,
Jim Miller.
Oh,
how did Jim Miller
Dober Unchained. Dober Unchained, bro. I don't know, dude. If he fights Jalen Turner, it's gonna be so fucking funny, dude.
Yeah.
He helps
Oh,
that
man.
pay-per-view out.
Bro, I wish
dude.
he would fight. Yeah, man, there's no way he's gonna fight another fucking black guy now. There's no way.
All the pay-per-views, they're like, why are we getting so many pay-per-views from the South, bro? Damn, people are really interested in this shit, bro. Like,
Yeah.
fuck, man. Dude, there's no way he does.
I think he's aware of the meme now. He's definitely
Yeah.
aware of the meme. I think he's gonna purposely try to fight someone who's not.
White guys now. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
he goes full like, yeah, he's going the opposite direction now.
Yeah.
Remember the meme that what's his name? Drew Dober when he they're like, Drew Dober, you get your black belt. No, I don't.
Yeah, he's like still a white belt. They're like, at least let us give you a blue belt, dude. Fuck, bro.
So funny though.
Man,
You guys want to ask some questions? Want to answer some questions?
Yeah, if there are any good Hap versus
if anyone
Matt
ask, like,
Hap
Good
versus
actual-
the Jim Miller.
Good questions.
birth name Hap
Oh.
Whitaker. Hap Whitaker. What the heck is
Whitaker,
going
wow, bro.
on? Whitaker's
The
involved.
lore is getting deeper, bro.
How does
Damn, dude.
Islam do it 170? I think
that's
he
a good question.
struggles. I think he struggles, especially against a guy like Hamzat or Usman. Like, I just can't see him after what we saw on Saturday, like holding down an Usman. You know what I mean? Maybe even holding down a Leon. Like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I think Islam might be able to beat Leon, but I agree. Like, I don't think he'd beat Usman. I don't think he'd beat Covington. You know,
Maybe
these would be tough
Covington.
fights.
Maybe Covington. Maybe Covington.
I don't know,
don't
man.
know.
I feel like Covington. I feel like he's gonna be the same size as Islam.
But who's better on the feet? I think Covington.
I'd say Islam's probably a little bit better.
Islam's a
than
bit better on the
Covington, yeah.
feet, and Islam. I think he could maybe.
I
hurt
just think
on the
Covington. You
feet.
know, I think Covington would be. I don't know. I don't see Covington gassing at all. I think it'd be a good
No.
fight. It'd be entertaining.
I think that would be a good fight, also.
Yeah,
I
I agree, man.
5 fighters at this era that you believe can go down.
Oh,
as
that's a good one. I think Islam maybe. I think
Volk. Let's
obviously.
not do like the guys who everyone knows, like just maybe some other.
Okay, maybe some new ones.
I think Hamzat.
Bilal.
Tupuria, bro.
Muhammad.
Tupuria might be like, you know, I could see
Tupuria.
Tupuria being up there, bro. He's
Yeah,
really
Tupuria,
good.
yeah, he's got a lot of promise.
He's
Um,
such a complete fighter. Like the guy, like he doesn't have
yeah.
really a weakness besides having bad first rounds.
Right.
That's his only weakness. But other
Kevin
than
Maybe
Lee,
that-
Bo
for
Nickel.
sure.
Bo Nickel.
Bo Nickel, yeah.
Yeah, Bo Nickel.
But
Yeah,
at the
Kevin
same
Lee.
time, like we
Mhm.
see these great wrestlers, and it just doesn't translate to MMA wrestling. So I don't know.
But
I'm
they
not ready
still
to
do
say
really
that.
well.
But he's got jujitsu as well. His triangles
His
and shit.
jiu-jitsu
Like,
is sick. Like
I'm not
he's
ready
really
for
well. He's got
Nickel
like
yet.
really good offensive jiu-jitsu.
how would Ace Chandler do
Who
though? Is
else?
the main question. Damn.
Ace Chandler. Is that
What's with these names that he's given them as well, bro? Half and
Ace
Ace
and
and
Half.
shit. This is fucking Top Gun. Relax,
Do
bro.
you think
Oliveira
Connor's
versus
gonna- do you think
Dariush?
Connor's gonna mention any of the kids? Like
I really hope so. I really hope. I hope they're like on tough. That'd be funny, bro. I feel like people would.
I
would
could see
take
Connor
that way
dragging Chandler into a
too far.
nasty beef, bro.
Dude,
I'm looking
just
forward
runs
to
him over with a
so
car.
much, man. I can't wait.
Dude, if Chandler runs him over
Thoughts
with a
on
car, bro.
Charles Oliveira versus Dariush? I think that's a 50-50 fight. But if I had to bet, I would say Dariush. That's my
Yeah, I
prediction.
agree.
I think he could rock him, and I think he could submit him.
I agree, bro. Damn,
Yeah.
boys.
Hamzat destroy Whitaker. Yeah, well, I think that's good for tonight, guys. I think we're gonna I think it's time to wrap it up. So if you guys enjoyed the stream, please leave a like and a comment. If you disagree with any of our takes, let us know in the comments.
They will.
Until next time, guys, subscribe to Bedtime as well.
Thank
Check out
you. We'll be-
Bedtime channel. It
Be
is
back
in
for
the
285 when Jones robs him. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Have a good one, guys. Take it easy.
Thanks, boys.